Welcome to today's City Council meeting, Monday, July 28th, 2025. I now call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
District 1, Councilmember Casey.
Present.
District 2, Councilmember Vieira.
Here.
District 3, Councilmember Otero.
Here.
District 4, Vice Mayor Martinez.
Present.
Mayor Lopez.
Here. Everyone, please stand for the invocation by Tim from Big Valley Grace, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mayor, City Council, everybody who represents this community, thank you. Thank you for the work you do. Thank you for the way you serve. Thank you for the time you give. And now, Lord, we just thank you for the city we live in. Thank you that we meet here, live here, gather here, raise our families here. And it is a great place to do it. Thank you for the young men I just left on a football field. And I thank you that we have great schools, Father, that you have given us to walk alongside men and women and help them become the men and women they're going to be. I thank you for the work that happens here regularly, the way that these men and women serve us and they help us and they bring wisdom and they bring counsel and they bring advice and they make decisions on our behalf. We thank you for that, but they're going to need your wisdom. They're going to need your guidance. They're going to need wisdom that goes beyond them and sight that happens to be further along than what they have today. Give them everything they're going to need to be the leaders that you've called them to be. And we thank you in advance for them. Bless these proceedings. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
We have a presentation, Health Center Week proclamation. Council, please join me up front. Golden Valley Health Center will be receiving this proclamation. Welcome, everybody. Today, we are proclamating August 3rd to the 9th as National Health Center Week. For nearly 60 years, community health centers have provided high quality, affordable, and comprehensive primary and preventive health care in medically underserved communities throughout the United States of America, improving health outcomes and strengthening our local systems of care. Community health centers now serve more than 32.5 million people, over 16,000 locations across the country, providing care to individuals and families from all walks of life. Regardless of background, income, or insurance status, Golden Valley Health Center, established in 1972, has served as a trusted provider in California, Central Valley for over 5 decades. Today, it operates 62 clinics across Merced, San Joaquin, and Stanislaus counties, delivering more than 712,000 visits to over 162,000 patients annually. Community health centers like Golden Valley Health Center support local economies and job creation, contributing to the economic stability and the resilience in both rural and urban communities across the region. National Health Center Week, August 3rd through the 9th, 2025, offers a time to recognize the longstanding nonpartisan mission of community health centers to provide accessible care and to honor the patient, staff, volunteers, and board members who make this work possible. Whereas the City of Ceres commends Golden Valley Health Centers for its continued service and commitment to the health and well-being of our residents. Now, therefore, be it resolved, I, Javier Lopez, Mayor of the City of Ceres, on behalf of the City Council, Vice Mayor Daniel A. Martinez, Councilmember James Casey, Rosalinda L. Vieira, and Sereno Otero, do hereby proclaim this week, August 3rd to the 9th, 2025, as National Health Center Week. I encouraged all residents to learn about the support and essential services provided by Golden Valley Health Centers and other community health centers in our community. Congratulations. Make a comment? Yeah. Okay, before we do that, let's take a little photo to make it. Bring it on.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, and City staff. My name is Alou Ceballos. I'm the Government and Community Affairs Manager for Golden Valley Health Centers. And I want to start off by thanking you for recognizing National Health Center Week and acknowledging the work that Golden Valley Health Centers does. Every August, National Health Center Week gives us an opportunity to highlight the vital role community health centers play in providing care to underserved communities. Golden Valley Health Centers serves 80% of our patients are Medi-Cal beneficiaries, and we are proud to be a trusted provider for so many individuals and families in our region. And we actually started providing services here in the city of Ceres in 2006, and we currently operate 2 locations, one on Memorial Drive. We have a dental and medical clinic there, and then another medical clinic on Whitmore. And next year, we will actually be celebrating our 20-year anniversary, providing care to the city of Ceres, which we are very proud of and proud of being part of this community. I did want to recognize some of the staff that are here with me today. In the white right there, we have Amy, Chief Communications Officer for Golden Valley Health Centers. Annette, she's the Director of Operations. And then if Ugochi could stand up. She is actually our intern and is from Ceres and just graduated from UC Riverside. So this is our attempt to attract local talent back to the Ceres community and just our region in general. And then we got Yamilet Valladolid, our Director of Community and Government Affairs. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much, everyone. Now moving on to citizens communication. While the City Council welcomes and encourages participation in the City Council meetings, adopt the rules allow no more than 5 minutes. Resolution 2007-106 for expression of non-agenda items. Matters under the jurisdiction of the City Council and not on the posted agenda may be addressed by the general public. However, California law prohibits the City Council from taking any action on any matter which is not on the posted agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the City Council. Citizens are entitled to address the City Council on any agenda item subject to the 5-minute provision. Anyone wishing to address the City Council must adhere to the rule of decorum. The rules of decorum are posted outside the chamber doors. Let's go ahead and begin with the representatives. Are there any representatives in the House that would like to make a comment?
Good evening, City of Ceres staff and council. Justin Farkas representing the office of Assemblyman Juan Alanis, just coming by to give a brief legislative report. Some of you may know that the state legislature is currently on their summer recess for the month of July. So the Assemblyman has taken much pleasure in spending a lot of time here in the district over the last week and a half or so. And we've gotten the opportunity to really get back in touch here with our residents and the key stakeholders in our community. You may have seen that we recently took part in a roundtable coordinated with the Stanislaus Latino Chamber of Commerce, Modesto Chamber of Commerce, and NFIB, National Federation of Independent Business. It was a great opportunity to talk about some of the challenges that local business owners are facing and some of the ways that the state legislature is working on getting over many of those hurdles. A similar vein, the Assemblyman took part in a panel discussion with the Modesto Chamber of Commerce discussing wealth and the opportunities that are arising with different initiatives at city, county, and state governments. In the legislature, we do have 4 bills over in the Senate. 3 of them are on the floor pending vote, and 1 in the Senate Appropriations Committee pending a vote. And tomorrow, big news. I kind of let you guys know about this last month, but tomorrow is our town hall. It's going to be at 6:30 at Cornerstone Baptist Church in Modesto, right at the corner of Scenic and Downey, approaching into downtown from that scenic corridor. So we would be really excited to have some of our Ceres constituents there to ask questions and get informed on the things that the Assemblymen have been working on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Justin. We'll now open this up to anyone in the chambers who would like to make a comment. Welcome.
One more representative, if that's okay.
Please state your names.
Yeah, my name is Japjit Singh Upal. I'm here representing Stanislaus County. Just started as a field representative in District 5, Office of Supervisor Chance Condit. Wanted to introduce myself to the council, staff, most importantly, members of the public. We will be in Ceres more often. You may have met my coworker Noelia already. We're splitting duties in the office on behalf of the supervisor. We did want to report out to the council and to the public that we did conduct a community cleanup in Ceres at Central Valley High School on June 28th. As you know, the supervisor likes to conduct illegal dumpings in the district. That was the 24th cleanup that we had conducted. And it's one of the ways to combat illegal dumping in the area. We bring members of the public out to a site, they dump their trash, and we take care of it for them. We did fill 11 bins that day. I want to give a shout out to Vice Mayor Martinez and to Council Member Vieira for coming out and helping us pick up. Also a big shout out to a resident of Ceres, a gentleman named Manuel Serrano. He came to dump his own stuff, saw that there was a huge line, decided to put his gloves on, get his hands dirty, and help us get a bunch of stuff taken care of. So very proud to say that we filled up 11 bins that day. Again, just wanted to introduce myself to the community. You will see us around more often. You're more than welcome to reach out to us at any time with county-related requests. To any members of the public that are here tonight, if you'd like to share anything or provide any comments that you want me to share with the supervisor or just chat about things going on in the county, I'll be in the back for a little bit. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate that. Anyone else who would like to speak during this period? We're doing public comment. Anybody?
Good evening, council members. John Warren, resident, City of Ceres. The other evening, I wasn't here when the city manager made his report on the Lazy Wheel campground situation over there. And I wanted to thank him. I went and watched it on YouTube. And so we have kind of an update, and I appreciated that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Anybody else who would like to make a comment?
Greeting Mayor, greeting Council, City staff. My name is Nathan Sanchez, and Ceres is a city I call home. I apologize for my attire, but I'm sure you guys understand sometimes when we get, behind in time. The reason I'm here today is this day next week, National Night is going to be going on. We all know that at this time, if we look around, there is a lot of division going on. Due to the new admin, people are for it, some people are against it, but you know as well as I do that it has caused a division. But I want to take advantage of events and times like this and bring the community together. Not only myself, but my fellow neighbors on Saturn Court, and not only the neighbors on Saturn Court, but the various sponsors, the various individuals, the various elected officials, business owners, and directors from different organizations are coming together in support of this National Night Out that we are doing. And they are behind it 100%. On this day, it doesn't matter to me whether you support the left, the right, or if you're independent. That on this day is not my concern, nor in the future. I will just respect your decision. But this day, primarily, we want to come together. And we appreciate the elected officials that have stood up and have responded and donated as well. Not only that, but we appreciate you, Chief Johnson, on making sure that we're going to have some officers there on site. Like I said, this event isn't just hosted by me and my wife, but behind the scenes, there's many, many people, many, many factors, and many, many individuals that are having a part in it. I'm going to leave this flyer here with you. And if you have a quick minute, please join us and be a part of our 3rd annual National Night Out on Saturn Court. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to make a comment?
Brandy Meyer, Series Chamber of Commerce, President and CEO. And I'm going to piggyback on what Nathan said and apologize about my attire. I've been on the ground on cement, lifting books, moving from office to office. So I didn't think I was going to make it here, so I didn't stop to change. A couple things I want to talk about for the Series Chamber of Commerce. We do have a mixer coming up. Tentatively, it's for August 28th, and it's going to be for promoting nonprofits in Ceres. We're verifying the location and confirming, so we will get the emails out once we have that confirmed. And coming up in September, we're bringing back my favorite event, One Table, One Community. So that's where we can try to close off 4th Street and have one big long table and bring the community in to have local food, restaurants who provide different items from their menu. We share. There's wine and beer tasting, and it's just a really fun event where you can walk around safely and enjoy the evening under the stars. And then on September 26th, in the morning, the kickoff, I believe, is around 8. We're going to have our 2nd annual golf tournament. So that will be at our local golf course here, the River Oaks Golf and Event Center. And we're very excited. We've been planning it already. So we're still looking for teams and we're looking for whole sponsors. So if anybody's interested, let us know. And as always, thank you for your support. And we have a lot coming up. So get in touch with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to make a comment? Yeah, I believe his item's 23. Okay, seeing none. I have 2 yellow cards for 2 different numbers, yes. Just making sure. Thank you, guys, gentlemen. Would you like to speak now?
If I may, I'm Steve Bain. I have been here since I was born, 1947. I watched the city change. I got a flyer from Casey and Terrell, and I was really heartened. They wanted me to get re-involved in the city that I live in. And I find your upcoming censure very divisive and petty. It's very demeaning. We need to get together and support the management and the life that we live here. I was here last month. I saw that you took money from the emergency fund. That means we're in a financial crisis. I don't see you solving any financial crisis when you're being divisive and petty. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else? Okay, moving on. Is there any conflict of interest? Seeing none. Moving on to consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are considered routine in nature and will be enacted by a single motion unless otherwise requested by an individual council member or public for special consideration. Otherwise, the recommendation of staff will be accepted and acted upon by a roll call vote. Is there anyone in the council that would like to pull an item? Mr. Casey, your item has been pressed.
Number 4, number 11, number 12, number 16, number 19.
Thank you very much. Councilwoman Vieira.
I'm sorry, I just want to see which ones he didn't call that I have on here. It looks like I have 13 that he didn't call.
That's correct.
I guess 17 and 18, I guess it kind of goes hand in, I guess. Yeah, those are simple questions, 17 and 18.
Okay, 17, 18.
Yeah.
What was that? Yes, we're pulling both, correct? Okay. That's it?
Mhm.
Okay. Councilwoman Otero.
Item number 14, please.
Okay, bring this to members of the public. Any members of the public would like to pull an item that has not already been pulled? $17 has been pulled. Any other items? I'll bring this item back for a motion.
Make a motion to approve items 1 through 3, 5 through 10, and 15 of the consent calendar.
Looking for a second.
Well, second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Aye.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero. Yes. Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item number 4.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. I know the money's already been spent. One goes to, I guess, to public safety. We had all these vehicles inspected. I'm assuming they all passed and because there's no repair bills attached to it. So we're doing a good job of maintaining our vehicles. Thank you. The next item I brought up is, there's 2 items on the agenda that have to do with the gazebo. One is the circuit breaker added, and then the $205,000, if I'm reading that right. Does that complete all the expenses on the gazebo? Is it these items here?
So Councilmember Casey, thank you for your question. So the $205,000 is a standard payment to the contractor. The gazebo is generally complete. We are still waiting for fabrication of the flush mounting for the receptacles on the gazebo. So we still have their retention. We hold 5% retention out of every single payment that we issue to them. So as soon as that is done, then we will bring a notice of completion to the council for that project. But as of right now, no, the project is technically not complete. We are waiting for that one item to be completed before we give an NOC.
Okay, thank you. And then one last thing is the public opinion research survey of 24,900. I looked on the budget last year's and this year's, and I didn't see this dollar amount and what category it fell under. And of course, it's not on the agenda for a report, and I'm not asking for that. I'm just wondering where the $24,900 came from.
The 24,900 came from various departments.
Say again?
Came from various departments.
So it didn't require an addendum to the budget. You just took money from here and there. Was it paid for out of last year's budget or this year's?
Last year's.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, go to the public for any comments on number 4. Seeing none, bring that on back for a motion. Oh, I'm sorry. My paper, my you didn't get turned off. My paper was covering your. Let's go backwards. Councilwoman Vieira, you had a question on number 4?
Yeah, just kind of piggybacking to what he had said regarding the gazebo. Because I'm just kind of concerned about the ongoing expenses. It sounds like it hasn't been accepted as being complete, so I didn't know why we were continuing to spend money on a project that isn't complete. If we're getting warranty, or does it void out the warranty?
Councilmember Vieira,
The item that you were referring to was for the circuit breaker. What happened was during the concert in the park, we kept getting interruption with that circuit. So I directed staff to go ahead and change that circuit to see if that was the case, and it was the case. So we would go ahead and resubmit that bill to the general contractor to see if we get reimbursed for that part.
And it doesn't void out the cover any kind of warranty or contract. Okay, because that's my other concern because it happens with other things. Okay. And then I just saw that there was a guardrail repaired. I'm assuming this must have been a car accident of some sort. And I was just wanting to see, do we have a way of getting reimbursed? Looks like for interstate, there's a $3,007.23 for a guardrail.
Was this in the gazebo, Ms. Vieira?
No, it's separate. It's page 28. It says interstate sales, $3,007.23 for a guardrail.
Oh, the guardrail, yes. That was a guardrail that was on Pine Street that our street department went ahead and repaired. Was hit by a car accident.
Or do we reimburse, or do we seek reimbursement from the insurance, or is it something that comes out of the general budget? And
The information I received from staff is that there was no insurance coverage.
That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Otero.
Just a quick question on the voucher list, the virtual project manager LLC. What exactly is that line item?
Thank you for your question, council member. So Virtual Project Manager is a project management software that engineering uses for all capital improvement projects. It allows the contractors and us to keep track of RFIs, submittals. We're actually getting ready to use their electronic bidding portion of their software also. But essentially, it's an all-inclusive software program that we use for tracking a project from really start to finish. And as we move through, we're actually adding more items that we're using. The nice thing about VPM is it does not cost additional to use these modules as they come out. So everything that when they come out with a new item, if we start to use that item, then we don't pay an additional fee for that. We just get the benefits of using it.
Good to know. Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the public? Seeing none. We'll now bring this back.
Make a motion to approve item number 4 of the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Yes.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero. Yes. Vice Mayor Martinez.
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item number 11. Who pulled item number 11? Mr. Casey.
More than a month ago, we approved the budget, and maybe I'm reading something wrong in this item, but I read it to say that we're going to approve a budget amendment for $1,579,000. Could that possibly be the correct amount that we're approving?
Thank you for your question, council member. So yes, you are approving a budget amendment for $1,579,647.91. So this is a project where we actually had different alternatives within the plans. And we did it that way. We knew that 6th Street was our main concern. But Shushan Drive was also a concern of the Public Works Department. We actually had a meeting on it before we selected what option. We had 2 other options that we could have chosen. And so this budget amendment will cover that. This comes out of enterprise funds. It does not come out of the general fund at all. But these are 2 critical areas that we've had lots of water main leaks or breaks that we've had to repair over the years. And so between coordination between the engineering department and the Public Works Department, we have decided to take alternate 2C, which is Shushan Drive, also along with the 6th Street water main base bid.
So how much money is in the enterprise account?
Oh, I don't have an exact amount, but I think it's somewhere around 29 million.
Thank you.
Any additional questions or comments from the council? Going out to the public, any members of the public that have a question on this item? Absolutely. Item number 11.
My name is Jerry Vargas. I'm just new to all this, but in all of these resolutions, why isn't there dollar amounts on every one of them? As a citizen, a resident here, I'd like to know this is what I'm paying for. There's
What you have
not
there
to
is,
do it, or
no, what you have there is just the cover sheet, but the actual agenda has line item per line item.
so how do I find out what?
You can either go online and download the PDF file.
Okay, and that will tell me what the
That's
dollar.
correct. And I don't know, do you have any physical copies of the
There's
entire?
also a physical copy of the entire agenda packet in the back of the room.
Oh, good.
There you
Okay,
go.
that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Anyone else have any comments or questions? Okay, I bring this item back.
Make a motion to approve item number 11 of the consent calendar.
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Yes.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item number 12. Mr. Casey, that one yours as well?
Sure. Same question. Again, more than a month ago, we approved a budget that was already $2 million in the hole. This one, this says it's 62,000 added. We're asking for an amendment. Is it also coming out of the enterprise zone, or is it part of the general fund? What's the deal?
No, it's Mr. Casey, thanks for asking that question. The idea here is as far as the fleet department, we collect from each division, from each department, we collect a certain amount for the vehicles that's being used. So we have enough funds in the allocation, we have enough funds for the purchase of these vehicles. So that's the reason why we're asking the difference in cost to get to be able to purchase this EV vehicle.
So this money that you have setting somewhere, is that part of the reserve? City manager?
Can I jump in here for a minute? So the fund he's proposing to use is our fund for vehicle and equipment replacement. And we did not budget anything in that fund this year because when we budget funds, they're collected, like Sam said, via an allocation to all the different departments. What we're proposing to do here is use existing balances within that fund that were made up of revenue collected from the sale of surplus equipment and vehicles. And so it's not part of the general fund reserve, to answer your question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments? There it is. Councilwoman?
On this one, I know there looks like there's a grant tied into this. Now, is this dependent on our vote regarding the grant writer? So if we don't approve the grant writer, does that mean we're not going to be requesting that grant that's associated with the purchase of this vehicle?
No, that's not true, Ms. Vieira. We have 3 different grants that we're applying for. One of them is an EPA, which is $166,000, and that's a guaranteed grant that we're going to be getting. And also we have another grant, which is funded by the state, which is $55,000. And we have one HVIP grant, which we are waiting for to open up so we could go ahead and apply for it. So that would put the total cost of the vehicle of $32,000. That includes taxes.
Okay, and that's not dependent on the vote for the grant writer. These are going to be done without the grant writer. I guess it's more of my question. It sounded like there was a little misunderstanding.
Well, I'm not sure if the grant writer is helped us with this, through this process. This is something that staff went ahead and did on their own.
Okay, because my vote is going to be dependent on that answer. Because if we're not getting the grants and we're on the hook for the full 62,000 versus the 32,000, I believe, that makes a significant decision in my vote. Because again, this is going to be dependent on how much money you have in the account and if we're touching the reserves to make the difference for that 30,000 that you're applying for in the grant writing. So that's why I'm asking that question, because 30,000 is a significant amount, enough for me.
Doug, would you be able to answer that?
I defer back to Shannon, which it was part of the fund coming out of the general fund. And Shannon, I'm going to defer to you on your description again.
If I may, Mr. City Manager, I think what Councilmember Vieira is asking is the grant writer that's, I think, 17 or 18, is if we vote no on that, will that affect the grant they're going for? I don't know if that's necessarily a Shannon question or a you question, sure.
Okay, then I did misunderstand. No, the grant writer was not involved directly with this.
So we're still going to apply for those grants regardless of the vote. Perfect, thank you.
Anybody else? The council? Going out to the public, any members of the public?
Good evening, Council. Joshua Casas, work here, and Public Works Superintendent. I just wanted to add a quick note. Yes, the funding or the grant was applied for by staff, so it's not through the, and our fleet manager or supervisor is waiting for that grant to open up, so he already has everything ready. Also, just a reminder that this EV would help us get closer to our mandate for 2030. So we need to have a certain amount of vehicles in our fleet electric by the time that comes in, or we'll be fined up to $10,000 a day for not having them. So all these steps are to try and get closer to that mandate and getting that percentage that we need. I just wanted to make that note. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else in the audience? Okay, I bring this item back for a motion.
Make a motion to approve item number 12 of the consent calendar.
Second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Aye.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item number 13. Who pulled item number 13? Yeah, that was you? Okay.
Or which one of us did it? I know it's on my list. With 13, I guess with this, are any of the grants that are tied to this tied to any of the Inflation Reduction Act, which a lot of those fundings are ending in the December, which means the cost of this project could change significantly. So I was just wondering if any of those were tied to this.
This is, Ms. Vieira, this is the SSMP of the Sewers System Management Plan. It's totally relies on the enterprise fund, and it doesn't rely on any general fund or any of the other funds.
And did we get the contract updated?
Yes, I reached out to the consultant, which he's in this meeting. His staff revised the report and sent us a revised report last Friday afternoon, and so we have it on hand and we're ready to report that to the water board.
Okay. So like the missing words and the misspelling of series has been corrected?
Correct. All the highlighted items that Doug shared with me on Friday was sent over to the consultant, and they were revised and resubmitted Friday afternoon.
And are we looking at addressing the SER or the SERP? It looks like that needed to be updated. Is that pending, or what's the status of that?
The SER.
It's in the report on page 401 and 418 on the 5-year I don't remember what it's called, spill, isn't it spill, emergency spill prevention or something?
Let me ask
Supposed to be
the
done every 5 years.
Okay, we'll ask the consultant Neil with KSN. He'll be able, more than happy to answer that question.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the council. Neil Caldwell, Principal Engineer with Kelson Sinek and UDEC. And to the question regarding the SERP, which I'm trying to remember exactly what that stands for as well. It's a response plan, the last two letters on that. That was updated in, we started this effort in the late part of 2023 as one of the early items that we updated as we were updating the rest of that document. So that has been done.
Yeah, the City of Ceres Spill Emergency Response Plan. From what I just want to see, are we going to be in compliant? Because on here it says it needs to be updated in the last 5 years. And for what I can see online, it looks like the last time we updated it was October 28th, 2019, which would be in excess of the 5 years, which would then, I just want to make sure it's not going to invalidate the contract that you have before us.
Right, Ms. Vieira, this is something I brought up to Neil. He'll be more than happy to answer that.
Sure. The city last updated your sewer system management plan, your SSMP in 2019. That was prepared under an order that was adopted by the State Water Board in 2006. That order was replaced in 2022, which this document that is before you this evening was updated to represent the requirements of that 2022 document. And that process requires a 6-year review and recertification of the SSMP. And so that process would be initiated once this document is submitted to the State Water Board, and then you come back and revisit it for update within 6 years.
So it wouldn't have to be, so the update of the report, the emergency response plan would be part of this contract then? Is that what that wasn't quite what I read from the.
You're asking about the sewer system management plan, the overall document, or the emergency response plan?
6.2 City of Ceres Spill Emergency Response Plan, which is page, I want to say 401. On there, it does call for it to be, and 418, actually 418 calls for a 5-year plan, the spill response plan, the emergency response plan.
So
that's
that was
what I'm asking about.
Okay. Yeah. So that was updated in 2023. And so you'd have a 5-year from there to update again.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And Neil, sir, I had a question. Is this a 5-year sewer management plan? So every 5 years, or is it a 6-year? I didn't catch that.
For the overall sewer system management plan, it's a 6-year time frame. There are elements within it that fall within 5-year and other actions that you have to go through and do your review every 3 years. Okay. There's a lot of different years that come in to updates and review of the document.
Thank you, sir. And then, Mr. City Manager, would this affect or need to be updated any sooner if we're to look into upgrading our wastewater facility or the building of a tertiary plant?
I don't think it's going to affect it right now because we're not going to be moving forward with any construction or anything within 5 years.
Thank you, sir.
Any additional comments or questions from the council? Thank you, sir. Move out to the public. Any members of the public that have any comments or questions? Seeing none, bring this item back for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item 13 of the consent calendar.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Yes.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item number 14. Who pulled item number 14?
Mayor, I pulled it.
Okay.
So in looking at this, it appears that the water container would be put at River Bluff Regional. So I'm new to this type of project here. I think it's a great idea. It gives people safe drinking water. But I'm not sure that River Bluff is the best location. I feel like with the homeless issue occurring at Whitmore and Hatch and Mitchell in that area, and sometimes them navigating along the canal, now they find out there's this the free water container. And I'm not sure what other problems that's going to bring. So I wanted to ask if there was any option to put this in another location.
Yeah, Mr. Terrell, this is the reason the River Bluff was selected, and I'll bring Josh into this, is because it's closer to disadvantaged communities where they rely on wells, and their wells is high of nitrate. So that's the reason why it was stationed there, so they could have easy access to that. So they're not driving to the middle of the town to fill in their jugs or their bottles.
So this would also, it looks like, probably be a collaboration with the City of Houston as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Is there a closer location maybe that way? I just foresee this possibly becoming an issue with.
well, the thing is, we need to also make sure that the fill station is connected to our wells, to our water main. I mean, if we're out and about, I mean, if we don't have availability of water, of city water, we can't tap into it. So we would have to be within approximately of any water supply. So this fill station could be connected to.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Councilmember Rosalinda.
Thank you. Thank you, Atara. I'm glad you kind of brought that up. You had mentioned that River Bluff was brought up because of the social economic demographics of Eastgate. Are you saying that's where disproportionately incomes families are? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, I mean, we're basically, based on our staff report, it says these efforts are currently focused on areas that are disadvantaged communities with high density of domestic wells. So trying to, placing that fill station within that area, I think that would really help. And I mean, if you have any other suggestions, I'll be more than happy to take that and see if we could relocate it.
I don't necessarily have questions, but like she said, just about the location, not necessarily being centralized. A lot of some of our lower income neighborhoods are not necessarily in the Eastgate neighborhood, which is why a lot of mine are on my side, where we have that, even Daniel downtown, where we represent a lot of the disproportionately in lower income households and single income households. And so that's where I'm a little confused by your comment stating that this is where it was best ideal to target those families, because I don't know if they're necessarily there, other than, yes, a lot of them are there for soccer and other events, so I can see where that would be needed. I don't know if I necessarily think that would be the reason.
Right. Let me bring Josh, and maybe we have someone from the Valley Water Collaborative.
Hello, Council. Again, Joshua Casas. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of understanding. So it's not, River Bluff was not chosen because of the socioeconomic status. It was chosen by Valley Water Collaborative because of the region that is affected by the nitrates that are not able to come onto city water. So because of the nitrate program and the state's mandates that all cities have to do something about the nitrate program, we've opted in to be part of Valley Water Collaborative, who they're the ones doing all the outreach, doing all the water testing. They're the ones finding the affected homes and affected residents in the area. So all city residents who are on city water are not really affected by the nitrate issues. The issues are for those that are outside of the city limits, outside of the city's sphere of influence for our water system. Who don't have access currently to clean drinking water, that's drinkable. Currently, the Valley Water Collaborative is providing bottled water to those residents, but they're trying to show the state that they're going further beyond just providing bottled water to them and doing something that is more. It's another form that people can come and have access to. Perry reached out and worked with us, and he explained how it could be a benefit to our city. One, because it would be available to anybody that goes to River Bluff Park for soccer or anything like that, for them to use freely. Valley Water Collaborative is going to be paying for the water, so it's not like we're giving it away or anything like that. And It'll also be central or like a close location to those communities that are affected by the nitrate issues in their wells. If you have a moment, Perry could give you just a brief rundown of Valley Water Collaborative as well.
Thank you. That was an awesome review, and that's exactly what I needed to hear. I appreciate that, Josh.
Go ahead, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. Perry Clausen, Executive Director of Valley Water. Mr. Mayor, Co-Mayor, thank you for having me. Yeah, so the location was chosen because of the nitrate contamination, which Josh mentioned is pretty much around the whole city limits. If you, I'm going to raise my arm over here, on the outside of the city limits, all the way down through Hillmar, we have a band of contaminated groundwater. All the private wells that access that water are delivering high nitrate water to the residences of those homes. We now offer and are providing bottled water to dozens of homes in that area from, I'll say from Houston to Hillmar. But there's a lot of residences that don't want to be in our program because we have to put their well information on a website called GeoTracker. And it's a state website that has caused a lot of people to have concern about having their information on a public well on a website. So this provides them the option of coming to this park and getting free bottled water. We're going to pay for the maintenance of that installation. We're going to have a service come in every week to make sure it's clean, to make sure there's no problems with it. We're paying, as Josh mentioned, for the installation. And this is just going to be an opportunity for access to clean water, which your Ceres public water system provides. So if there are other locations, though, we're open for looking at those. We have identified this area as an initial focus area to try to figure out if we're going to do a consolidation project or other things to provide these private well owners with clean drinking water. So if you have any other questions, be glad to answer them.
Absolutely.
Just quick follow-up based on what you had just said about other areas. Have you looked at, since you said primarily county area, and I know our county supervisors already left, about something in my district 2, which is the west side along Crow's Landing, where that's still also a lot of well water, and we're still working on the infrastructure in that area, and we're still have residents out there as well?
Yes. Well, the nitrate control program initially started with what they call Priority 1 basins, which are the Turlock groundwater basin and the Modesto groundwater basin. Priority 2 basins started the program in March of this year. That includes the Delta Mendota Basin, which covers the area on the other side of the river. We're going to be looking at those types of installations in that part of the basin, this part of Stanislaus County, in coming months. Next year, actually, we'll start looking for locations to install fill stations on a public water system, because it has to be obviously clean water that these fill stations are located on. So we'll be starting those areas next year.
So you are looking at expanding onto the other part of town that does have a lot of the socioeconomic disadvantaged communities, as well as being still on county water and not part of the city water system?
So the county, from my understanding, you're talking about county water system?
Well, kind of out by the, along Crow's Landing Road, where South Modesto and Ceres kind of come side to side along, was it Whitmore and Crow's Landing? We still have homes out there in that area. And so, I mean, those neighborhoods there that are still not necessarily on city, which sound maybe part of these communities because they're still very much in the country and they still have those homes around them, will have to drive to this side of town to access the clean water, it sounds like. So I'm just wondering if you're looking at expanding into that area.
If you can provide some locations to Josh, we'd be glad to look at them. One of the problems is finding parks or public areas. These aren't the first fill stations in the Central Valley. There are 3 down in Fresno and Tulare County, and they tend to work better on public property because private owners they're very hesitant to have this sort of installation on their property. But yeah, in the Paradise Road area, it's another initial focus area that we've done outreach to in those areas. So if you've got locations, then please refer them to Joshua and we'll be glad to take a look at them.
Thank you. And I look forward to meeting with Josh and having this discussion. Hopefully we can find an area that'll work. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Sam or Josh, I'm not sure which one you might be able to answer this question, but there's no way to, because you said it needed to be near a metering device so that we can monitor and charge appropriately. There's no way to put it near a pumping station, maybe further down the line where it could get closer to the residents that might need it more, like Second District, the series?
I'm pretty sure we could add more fill station if need be, Vice Mayor. So this is going to be our first here in the city. If we find that if we don't, if we find that it's been really successful, then we'll go ahead and implement more locations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, great. Yeah, like Sam said, this is the initial, basically trial to see if we're reaching the affected areas that Valley Water Collaborative already has in mind. And I know there's plenty of areas that could use something like this. What they're going off of right now is the list of those that people have opted in already and got their wells tested, and they have them down in the system because those have all been reported to the state. So again, we have to show the state that we're doing something to mitigate these nitrate problems. Another reason that we picked River Bluff was because Valley Water Collaborative's team did, they drove around and they went what was central to some of the further areas east. That would be the easiest location for them. We also looked at things like cameras, parking access, all these different reasons that we talked about River Bluff, but there is plenty of opportunity for other installations. As Perry said, within the city or in the Fresno County, there's multiple stations. And, if this all goes well and we have a good turnout, we can continue this relationship and this idea going forward in the city.
Yep. Yeah, the city of Turlock has a potable water station at its wastewater treatment facility where I believe you have to prove that you're a resident and then you take a course and then you're welcome to free water there as well. So I'm aware of this program. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Any other additional comments or questions from the council? Any members of the public? Mr. Warren. We have a hand raised today.
John Warren, City of Ceres. I was also born in 1947, but I haven't lived here all my life, just 40 years. I have a couple questions. Is River Bluff Park going to be open 24 hours a day with this program so people can come when they get off of work? In the wintertime, that place closes at dark and they lock the gates. And that's 4:30 in the afternoon or 5 o'clock or 6. And there's a lot of people that work that might want to access free water at that time of day because it's not 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night. So a consideration as to whether that's going to be available 24 hours a day for the people that are affected by this. The other thing is Valley Water going to continue supplying water to the people that they're supplying to it now when this becomes available, or are both of these things going to be made available? Are they going to continue supplying water to the people that they're doing so now? And then have we thought about the commercial aspect of this? We have a lot of water mills around town. Richland Shopping Center has one, and there's a lot of folks that come and they purchase water with their 5-gallon jugs. So if we put a free water facility out there, that might have an effect on those businesses, because if something's free and you can go there and get it versus the grocery store or at over by Sequoia Market and in those areas. So I don't know if there's any consideration been thought of as how it's going to affect our businesses that actually sell water. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. That's actually a really good question. Sam?
Well, I don't want to put any businesses in trouble or out of business, Mayor. This is something we're trying to help the community, the residents, anybody that needs the water, clear water and drinkable water. I mean, as far as the parks being open, we have restrictions on when the park would open up at dusk, and I mean from dawn to dusk, and we're not going to change that rules. I mean, people are going to be they have to make some adjustment to come in and fill up their water as needed. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? I have a hand raised.
Mr. Yeakley, you're allowed to talk.
1 second, sir. There was a hand raised. We'll come back to you. Again, 1 second, sir. There's a hand raised on Zoom. Yeah, we'll let you come back right now. If Mr. Yeakley, can you hear us? Oh, he's muted. Mr. Yeakley, you are muted. There you go, sir.
All right. The well that they're going to put in, no matter where it's at in the city, I didn't hear anything mentioned about filtering the nitrates and all the other harmful chemicals that possibly could be in this water. I think that's something that should be addressed to this people in Ceres that might use this one or wherever it's placed or any other ones. I would like to hear that myself as far as how elaborate and efficient a filtering system for all these chemicals that through the years have come out through the fields from farming and what have you. That's my question.
Mr. Yeakley, I'm going to refer to Josh. He has more knowledge about the nitrate system that we have throughout the city. Josh.
Hello. Yeah, so we're not installing a well. It's going to be installing a water fill station that is using city water. So the same water that everybody has going to their homes is going to be served. The water fill station itself, like any other water fill station, will have internal filtration, like RO systems inside of contained within the unit. But it's going to be essentially a filtered water station that's serving city water to anybody that needs it.
Okay, thank you. That answers the question so that people can have a little bit more information on where it's coming from and that it is filtered. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And that's the reason another reason that we decided on River Bluff, because that is the furthest east that we have our city water distribution lines.
I had a question for you, sir. Well 28 is already in existence and its filtration system's already there, but who will be responsible for paying for the metering device and the connections to allow the water to be received?
Valley Water Collaborative, yeah, it's part of the agreement that we made.
Then does this affect us financially out of a billing aspect? We're not going to have to put any additional man hours into billing? No? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
There was somebody behind you who would like to speak. Thank you, sir.
My name is Galen. I'm a city resident here for most of my life. Anyway, I have a question because the issue here is increasing safety of water to Ceres residents. But I was looking online on the city website and I didn't find an annual report of the water like the yearly annual report. So I was just wondering where that is at, because it's been several years since it hasn't been updated along with other things on the website. So I don't know if that's a question for Sam or Josh.
Thank you for that question. The annual consumer confidence report is reported every year via the website and as a mailer with your water bill. It lists any constituents that are in the water, anything that's close to MCLs. It gives a history of, a general history of our city, our water sources, and any contaminants that may be in the water. Also, any kind of treatment that's being done to mitigate those problems. So we're in compliance with our state in all those areas. And yeah, so if you need help locating it on the website, I can help you do that. But it will be under Consumer Confidence Report.
Thank you very much. Any additional comments or questions from online? Bring this item back.
Make a motion to approve item number 14.
Second it.
We get a roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Aye.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
No.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1.
Item number 16. Was that you, Mr. Casey?
Thank you. Again, it adds to the question. 1 month ago, we approved a budget, and now we're approving an addendum to the budget, adding an extra $100,000 is what I'm reading. And it's for an accounting firm. Is this the same one we're still using? I don't know. And did we have an idea this was going to happen when we did the budget? Are these funds also part of this enterprise thing, and it's not really affecting the general budget? 100,000 is not going to come from the reserve. That's my question.
Shannon?
Mr. Casey, thank you for the question. So yes, when we made the change during the budget adoption and added an additional $50,000 for general fund in finance, it was for this consultant to continue helping us, and it is the same consultant that we hired last fiscal year. And so the general fund portion was included in the budget, but the corresponding enterprise fund budget allocation was not included. And so that's what this item is requesting, 50,000 from sewer and 50,000 from water, since finance does impact all of our major funds here at the city.
Thank you.
Any questions from the council? Members of the public? Bring this item back for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 16 of the consent calendar.
Second it.
We got a double second, but we'll give it to Serena. She has a second all evening. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
No.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-1.
Item number 17. Rosanna, that might have been yours.
I'm a little confused, and you'll just have to kind of catch me up here, because I know I thought we approved something already when it comes to doing a traffic study through, I believe, a different company, and they had put up different LPRs, because I remember seeing the cameras throughout town, because I remember contacting McCann, and I see him in the back when those LPRs went up in different intersections, especially on my side of town. And so I'm just kind of wondering, how is this different than what we had already approved for I guess that you said it was going to take about a year for all this, everything to get synced and the traffic lights to be synced. How is this different? And that's what I'm just trying to figure out.
So thank you for your question, council member. So this is actually what you're referring to. The counters that you saw were essentially counting traffic, counting trucks, counting cars, so that we can go through our synchronization of our lights throughout the entire city. This, however, is much different. This is actually a speed survey. And this is actually required so that our police department can use radar or LiDAR on segments of roadways throughout the city. So they take the 85th percentile. I'm actually glad you pulled this up because one thing that to let the public know is generally speed surveys, traffic, it's meant to get you across town. That's what this does. And with that 85th percentile, if the 85th percentile is 45 miles an hour and it's a 40-mile-an-hour road, that speed limit is going to go up to 45 miles per hour. So with the public, making sure you drive slow, drive the speed limits, those types of things is very, very important when we're doing these speed studies. But in the end, generally speed studies increase speed limits throughout a city. Very rarely do they lower speed limits throughout the city. It's only if that 85th percentile is lower than it currently is. Most of the time, driving behavior does not lend itself to that. Most of the time, it lends itself to people driving faster, not slower. So Yes, this is a speed study. It is for PD. It's something that we actually need to be doing every 5 years. I believe the last time we did this was 2018. We adopted it in the beginning of 2019. So this will come back every 5 years for council to approve another speed study. You'll see that, it's almost $53,000. That's for 43 road segments. We essentially asked for a $12,100 contingency instead of a percentage. And the reason we do that is because that'll allow us to add about 10 more road segments. And those will be working in coordination with the police department on additional road segments through town that they would deem necessary to use radar on and be able to write tickets.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that I confirm. So this is from reading the report, it looked like it was part of an assembly bill, so we're required to do it by law. And then secondly, police can't offer or ticket anyone for speeding unless the traffic study's done. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and we definitely want to make sure we're able to have residents call the police for speeders down their street. And if we don't do this, okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments from the council? Councilwoman?
Thank you, Mike, for that information. We've had a lot of conversation about speeding in series. And so I'm grateful that this is going to be moving forward so we can get the speeds right in certain areas. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving out to the public. Any members of the public would like to make a comment on this item?
Dave Pratt of Series. The last time you had the speed study, you raised the speed limit in neighborhoods and lowered it in main thoroughfares. And I hope the council rejects doing that. Every time you mess up the main thoroughfares with all the traffic lights and stuff, more people go speeding through the neighborhoods. So I hope when the studies come out that you reject raising the speed limits in any neighborhoods and work on the traffic lights and get the traffic moving smoothly through town. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Warren?
John Warren, City of Ceres. Unfortunately, sometimes when they do these studies, speed limits are increased and raised. But I was wondering, I remember a discussion, if there is some leniency in adjusting the speed up or down, maybe 5 miles an hour as a result of these studies. Is there some flexibility that the city has or that the engineering department has in making these adjustments?
So thank you for your question, Mr. Warren. Yes, there is some leeway. They give us a 5 mile an hour leeway when we do these studies. So generally speaking, we do observe, we go through all of those. We will be in close coordination with the police department. I, as the city engineer, do have the ability to lower a speed limit by 5 miles an hour, and that's from the 85th percentile. So if something goes up to 50 miles an hour, I can say, hey, in concert with the police department, we think that the speed limit should be 45 miles an hour. Maybe it was a bigger jump that it went from 40 to 50. And so we want to lower that back down by 5 miles an hour. The law does give us that ability to do those types of things. But 5 miles an hour is the limit that it allows the city engineer or director to lower speed limits by.
Councilmember Casey?
Sure. I think you answered the question, but Blaker Road is from Kinzer to Whitmore is a speed. So if that's part of the study, it's going to be raised, and Caswell is the same thing from Moffett Road to 5th Street, where they roll through the stop sign all the way to Central. We've had neighbors complain about that. So and then Central Avenues, particularly when the school's not in, It's, I mean, these are streets that I'm familiar with. I'm sure there's other streets the same way. I mean, they go like race cars, you know, and so there must be some, I mean, government is so different than a lot of other things, but there must be some common sense in that, you know, if you're measuring the speed on Central Avenue between Hatch and Moffett Sequoia intersection, you know, it's not safe. It goes through schools, there's housing there. And that, you know, undoubtedly that study would bring the speed limit up 5 miles an hour. So there must be some common sense. I don't know. Anyway, that's just an observation that John brought up and brought up by Serena as well. Thank you for listening.
Anybody else in the audience? Okay, I'll bring this item back for motion.
Make a motion to approve item number 17 in the consent calendar.
Second it.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Yes.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item number 18.
I believe is it me or
That's Councilmember Vieira.
is it me? Okay. Because we have a lot of the same ones on our agenda. I guess my questions, because I know I thought we had approved this back in April. And then I also wanted to confirm, it looks like the grant, the association with the grant writer, because I didn't see any administrative fees or indirect fees that were necessarily written into this. So I was wondering how that was going to be allocated. And I'm assuming that's coming out of the grant, but I just wanted to confirm that was what was being discussed on this one.
So yes, ma'am. Basically, the grant, it looks familiar because we brought it to the council for about 9 months ago to ask for us to be able to apply for it. We came back and accepted the grant, and now we're finally, after those 9 months, for the help of Capital Advocacy, who put together a coalition to get the money released from the federal government. We're now to this point where we're accepting the funding for this grant that was just announced, you know, today with our kickoff meeting that we are moving forward with this. It's for 1,300 trees. It's $1,084,000, and we're ready to move forward with the acceptance of this grant from the council. Now, answer to your question as far as management of this grant, Capital Advocacy is managing this grant. They have set aside an amount in there, and right offhand, I forgot the exact amount, but the rules have changed that we were notified today. It was quarterly meeting. Now they have changed it. The federal government changed it to monthly meeting or monthly reporting. And we have to give them a bunch of information as far as the longitude and latitude of each tree we plant and the variety or species of the plant, all 1,300 trees. And so there's all kinds of detailed work that needs to be done to make these recommendations, or not recommendations, but reporting to the federal government and CAL FIRE to make sure we're staying within the limits of that.
Now, is this grant contingent to the approval of the next item, item 19?
It's very well tied to the item 19, yes, because we're talking with the finance department, they requested it. They said it's too big a grant. They have too shortage of personnel to actually maintain it and manage it. And so Capital Advocacy will manage it, but we have to have a contract with Capital Advocacy to actually have them manage the grant.
So what happens, obviously, if we approve number 19, obviously they would manage it. What happens if we don't?
We would have to find somebody that would understand this grant as well as they do, and be able to bring somebody on, educate them somehow, and let them know, you know, what's required of the CAL FIRE, what they've said. The original grant was for 28 months. Now, because this took so long to get it funded, now we're down to 22 months. We have to expend all this money and have everything done by December 31st of 2028, I believe, or 2027. And so we have to meet all those deadlines within the 22 month, or I believe it's a 22-month period that we have to have all this done.
It's, if I could just jump in here, it's 32 months, so we have until 2028.
I stand corrected.
Thank you. Those are all my questions.
Vice Mayor?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. City Manager, you said that Capital Advocacy is managing the grant. So does that mean that they are in charge of how and when it's allocated? And does that also mean that they would be picking from the list of people that are applying for the grant to put trees in the city? They would be purchasing from those different vendors, or how would that work if they're managing that?
No, basically it's going to be the Parks, the Department of Public Works, and basically the team surrounding it to make the selection of the trees and everything else. They're strictly a fiduciary agent for the city. They're going to be handling all the reporting and drawdowns for this and making sure it's the reports are made. And so that way, because every report has to be submitted within 30 days. All the bills they want every 30 days also, and then make sure those are all done and then make sure it's collected and reported back to our finance department.
Yes, sir. And then since we've first voted and passed this, has anybody come forward and applied for the grant to any local businesses or anyone that's trying to help us put trees in the city?
We've looked at four companies to supply the trees because that's a lot of trees. And so we're going to be splitting that up. And actually, we're probably narrowing it down to 3 because one of them is going to be doing all the planning for us. And so, yes, we'll be looking at different agencies or organizations, mainly in the city of Ceres to start with, and then, span out from there.
Okay. And just to sort of piggyback off of what Councilmember Vieira asked, if we were to vote no on 19, how quickly can we pivot or, find someone to manage this grant for us if we don't go with Capital Advocacy? Because you said 32 months, Shannon, is how long we would have to allocate all the funds?
Right. So we have to complete the project by March 31st, 2028, and then all submissions of invoices to CAL FIRE have to be in within 30 days of that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, no additional questions? Going out to the public, any comments or questions on this item? Seeing none, bring this item back for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 18 of the consent calendar.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Yes.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item number 19. Mr. Casey.
Sure. Again, we're adding $71,280 to a budget that's already short by $2 million. Are these monies coming out of that enterprise zone, part of the general fund?
So no, the money is actually going to come out just general fund. And so I've spoken with Dana de Beaumont, who's the owner of or president of Capital Advocacy Group. She is in the audience here if you have any questions for her, but basically we negotiated the prices down, and so she's able to do that, and it's going to be able to fund everything out of the general fund.
Okay, and I wasn't able to bring it up on this computer, but I didn't print it, but it's been suggested if we don't approve this, I thought I read, now maybe I didn't read it clearly enough, but I thought I read if we don't approve this, we don't get the $1 million.
It's going to be very difficult to do that because keep in mind, and once we're going to bring somebody on, so we're going to have to go out for recruitment, bring it back to council. That's 30, 45 days. We're going to have to sit there and then bring somebody on, bring it to the council, get the contract approved. Then we're going to come back, and it's going to cause us to have an even tighter timeline than we already have in trying to plant these trees and get all the fiduciary information done for the city without any training.
Okay, so, again, I'm still learning to be a servant of the public. But it seems like the $71,000 we could have snuck in through the budget and we wouldn't be bringing it up. But a month ago, we approved a budget. Now we're adding the $71,000. And at the same time, we're saying to the public, hey, we have a chance to get $1 million, but if you don't approve this $71,000, we're going to lose it. It just doesn't seem to be proper.
I just said we're not digging into reserves.
I think it says in the multiple pages of item 19 that if we don't approve it, maybe it says we could lose it, but I understood it to say we would lose it. At any rate, it's just, doesn't seem to be the proper way to manage the people's money. That's all. Thank you.
So real quick clarification on that. We didn't know we were getting this grant until just a few weeks ago. It was after the budget, before we got the notice that it's been approved. So we couldn't have put it in the budget if we wanted to at the time, because we had no idea we were going to be awarded it. But they sent us a letter.
Councilmember Otero?
Thank you, Mayor. So I recall shortly before the budget approval, I actually spoke with you, Doug, about the grant writing contract because I was concerned that was not in our budget. At the time, I did feel that it was going to be an issue because of a reason like this. There are going to be grants that need to be written, and some of those are going to be very lengthy and timely, and I'm not sure that you have the city staff to be able to write all of these. But I pretty much got my answer, my question answered, which was regarding why it wasn't originally budgeted. Thank you.
Councilmember Vieira?
Thank you. I guess I was kind of mixed a little bit on this one because I believe in a lot of times grants, you can incorporate the costs or a portion of the direct and indirect costs of the labor or the grant administration. And I didn't see that in the initial one, which is why I initially started this conversation with you. Now, are they going to continue to write the other grants? Because I know we had some last year for the bulletproof vests and some for our electric vehicles. Like Josh had mentioned, we need to get up to the requirements by the state before we do get fined. And then also it looks like the tobacco grant and other stuff they've reached. And then also I know they had written the homeless outreach, but I know there's some conversations that I want to have with you regarding the mental health, which I think you've already gotten in a couple of my emails. Are we able still to continue those conversations and continue to work on getting these grants like the JAG grant and other grants for our public safety? Because I think that's one of my biggest concern is making sure our police officers have the equipment they need and anything else that we can get for them. Since we are in and especially our employees, since we're in such tight budget times, I think we're going to rely heavily on grants.
And yes, ma'am. And the answer to that is yes, we'll still pursuing all those grants. Right now, there's been a very much of a slowdown for grants coming out. They're getting ready to drop, as we're understanding. Congress is on recess, and so they'll be coming back. And we anticipate that a lot of those grants through DOJ and some of the other agencies are going to start dropping down for us to, and hopefully pick up. Like I said, the fire grant, they made a special point today in the, conference call that it was in the top 20% of all the grants they got. So that's the type of quality work we get from them. The bulletproof vest grant, they don't charge us to write. They just do it for free, as well as the Department of Energy grant. They just do those because they're sitting there going, we're already, involved with them. We've been, getting them, keeping them busy with all the other grants that we're trying to go after. And as you can see, they brought $2.4 million to us. And I think we paid out $150. And so the rate of return on capital advocacy is, for every dollar we spend, we get $18 back.
Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you very much. Members of the public? Vice Mayor, I did not see your button press.
It's all right, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, sir. Doug, you said that the Capital Advocacy's senior partner or manager was here. Would it be possible to ask them some questions?
You can.
Well,
how's it going?
Hi there, Dana DeBeaumont from Capital Advocacy Partners, and I want to clarify one thing right off the bat. I met with both the police chief and the fire chief today, and the JAG funding and the bulletproof funding, we are closely monitoring that, and we're going to put that in regular cadence, and we do those grants as part of our regular monthly fee.
Thank you, Dana. I had a question. So the 70,000, I don't have the exact number in front of me for managing this particular grant. Would that cover the life of the grant? What was it, 32 months, so 2.5 years? Would that $70,000 cover that? Or is this just to cover for the years, so that will cover for the 2.5 years?
Yes, it does cover it. And today they told us that there will be, instead of quarterly reporting, monthly reporting of reports and financials. And part of that is to make sure we draw down the money as quickly as possible and move forward, given the fragile nature of the federal government. And so I want to say too, that these funds had been frozen for a long period after the administration came in. And we built on behalf of the city of Sirius a coalition of all the grantees where we held meetings. We met with over 17 members of Congress's office. We did all the draft letters for the whole coalition to get this funding unfrozen. The state said they were going to unfreeze it and move forward. And then the next day, Doug, the city manager, received a letter from the federal agency saying we are authorized to move forward. So that money was all frozen, but because of the work on behalf of CIRAS, they acknowledged that we could go forward, and many other programs still remain frozen, but not this one. And the electric vehicle funding was also recently, after significant engagement, unfrozen. Part of it is raising the profile and letting them know the validity and the connection with the priorities of this administration of why this is important funding.
Thank you. Well, Dana, thank you. I appreciate you answering my questions. I appreciate you being here in public to do that as well. That means something to me. Thank you for working, being proactive with police and fire, and for answering my questions, ma'am.
Thank you. Any others?
Councilmember Casey?
Last month or last 2 weeks ago, I asked about the $6,900 that we had to refund to a grant, and it turned out the reason we had to refund it is because there was some confusion about the reporting. So do we have some sort of guarantee that that the grant money is going to be protected by the reporting issue? Because last month, again, it wasn't nearly this large of a grant, but we had to refund $6,900 of it because there was some snafu in the reporting of it. So is there some kind of built-in guarantee?
Sir, there is not a guarantee, but we have not been doing grant management for the city. This is the first grant, given how large it is and the intrinsic reporting nature, that we're going to be helping with that, and we will be responsible. On the other grants, part of the advocacy today is we have recently built and expanded a compliance and grant management team. And what we're trying to do is touch base on all grants that we have written to see, where grantees are they meeting their deliverables? Are they meeting the reporting requirements? And are they drawing down, included in our monthly fee? And so one of the grants we talked about today was the tobacco grant, ensuring that we can do the drawdowns. And so we're going to be working on that as part of an expanded service that we're doing to ensure clients are successful, not only winning, but to deliver and be compliant results is very important. And so we are going to be working on that for no additional fee, but to make sure we're supporting your team.
Mr. Casey, that grant that we had to return was not written by Capital Advocacy. That was staff.
I wasn't suggesting that. I was suggesting it must have been written right. The problem wasn't the grant writing. It was the grant reporting. That's what I was saying. It doesn't matter who writes it. Mm-hmm. What insurance do we have that 64 months from now, we get a letter from whoever this money came from, said, hey, wait a second, you didn't do something right, because that's what happened with the $6,900. Mm-hmm. It wasn't something that happened yesterday. It was a couple of years prior, and it was just, and it was my understanding, it was just a few days off, and they said, hey, too bad. And that's all I'm at. I understand that it doesn't matter who writes the grant. My question is about the reporting and the compliance with the grant. Because on the outside world, I was involved one time with a private grant to a private company, and the same thing happened. It's my job, and I thought Rosalinda was going to take care of it. She thought the mayor was going to take care of it. It never got taken care of. So they had to refund $15,000. So that's my only question. I understand that our company that we have now is right on spot, but we really don't have a guarantee that 60 months from now, when they review this, they go, wait a second, you planted the wrong trees and you didn't turn it in time. We want our $1 million back. That's all I'm saying.
Sir, we are committed and responsible for ensuring the proper trees that have been approved and that are good for this area will be planted. We've been in close coordination with Joey Chavez and others and getting the trees approved by the CAL FIRE. So we are working closely and responsible, and we'll be closely monitoring that. That is part of our grant management. We will be doing the monthly reports, calculating against what we're supposed to do, as well as working to do the effective requests for drawdowns of money to get reimbursed promptly. If we don't write a grant, it's not something we're really aware of, or we know what the parameters are, sir. Now, one of the grants that we discussed today was the Prop 64 grant, and we intend to engage with the folks that are doing it to make sure to try to get a better track on where are you and how can we support you to make sure you meet your deliverables and you get the outcomes you desired and get reimbursed for the funding you're owed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the public? Thank you. Seeing none. Bring this item back for motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 19 of the consent calendar.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Councilmember Casey,
I abstain.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 4-0 with.
We'll now go to a 5-minute recess. Did. We are getting ready to begin. Please be seated.
Those meetings.
Welcome back, everybody. Starting off with item number 20, ordinance number 2025. An ordinance of the City Council and of the City of Ceres adding section 5.19 definitions, amending section 51940 eligible organizations, section 51980 chief of police investigation, amending section 51990 for summary suspension of revocation of a renewal of a permit to operate, section 519100 from enforcement to bingo location security, adding section 519.110 conducts of games, section 5.19, 120 financial records, and section 519, 130 enforcement of the Ceres Municipal Code. This goes to Johnson. Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and members of the public. Tonight, I'm bringing forward amendments to an existing ordinance regarding the operation of bingo halls within the City of Ceres. Ceres currently has 2 bingo halls operating within the city limits. The police department has begun receiving complaints about a year to 2 years ago from the citizens that they were not operating within the guidelines of the law. Upon examination of our current ordinance, we found it did not completely align with state and federal regulations. The proposed changes ensure that the police department can properly regulate the practices of bingo hall operations. Prior to tonight's meeting, CSO Dave McCann met with both the bingo halls and their operators. He went over the proposed changes and they agreed with everything except for one section, which is section 5.19.110, subsection M, the conduct of games. This section eliminates the use of games referred to as hot ball, pull tabs, instant bingo. These games are not authorized by the IRS. It will revoke their their exempt status and are not allowed for them to use those. Some of the other changes addressed are the licensing requirements, financial record responsibilities, and specific security measures for video surveillance. This was run through the city's attorney and is found to be that legal and that we are within our rights to enforce these amendments. I'd also like to thank Dave McCann. He did a lot of work on this and want to take any questions.
Okay, we will now open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the chambers that would like to make a comment on this item?
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Mike Warda. I'm an attorney from the City of Turlock. I represent the Bit Nahrain organization, which has been conducting bingo operations for, 30 years in the city. I'm not sure about whether or not any of the complaints were specifically about Bit Nahrain, but there were issues with a competitor that was offering large sums of money for winning, and it was affecting their business too, and it was more than it was allowed by state. And so the Bit Nahrain organization talked to a few people about that. And so I don't know about complaints about their operations. With respect to pull tabs, respectfully, they're absolutely legal, and probably 200 cities in the state that use bingo use pull tabs. And what they are is without them, most bingo operations would fold. It is part of the bingo game, and under the penal code, it is actually identified as part of the bingo game. The pull tabs here are not like in some states, you get a pull tab and you pull it, it's like a mini slot machine in your hand. And just from that card, you know whether you've won or you've lost. That's not the type of pull tabs that are being used in California with bingo games at nonprofits. And this is a nonprofit. Those pull tabs, when you pull the tab, you get numbers, but they're dependent on the rest of the bingo game. They'll have to draw those numbers. So it's really like buying an additional bingo card. And unfortunately, I got into this game late. I have provided your council with the penal code section that indicates that they're proper. Again, this entity has been funding an Assyrian TV and Assyrian radio station with bingo operations. Without it, that TV program goes away, and the radio station has a very difficult time staying functioning. We've been depending on bingo for, like I said, 30 years, and have not really had a serious problem at all with the city of Ceres, with the PD, or with players, and have always complied with the rules. When we had complaints, we went through the proper channels to attempt to deal with it. The pull tab, again, is completely legal, and we really ask that the city reconsider making it, eliminating it from a part of the bingo process here at the Narragansett Club. This council bingo was 1989 when it was founded. And so the name of the television station is KBSV TV 15. It serves not just the Assyrian community, but it does also a lot of community benefit work. And I know everybody has flipped through the channels and seen it, maybe a little less with DirecTV, but everybody has seen it. The radio station has been around since I was a kid. And so this will impact their operations. So I ask you to seriously take a look at this one provision. The other provisions, I don't think there's a major issue with reapplying every year. It used to be that we just submitted, and we still do, certified financials every year from a certified public accountant that were submitted for the city to review. And I think what happened at some point back in the past is that staff was kind of overwhelmed with financials every year, having to review them. So I think they changed the ordinance to give the PD the discretion to operate with this suspension thing to deal with complaints if they came up, because the complaints were happening less than having to every year conduct an audit for a bingo permit. We're okay with either way because as a matter of fact, in February, the IRS audited the organization, saw all the pull tab work that they do. It did not affect their status. As long as it's a nonprofit and nobody's being paid from this money to work the bingo, when nobody is, and all the money is used for nonprofit entities, there's no problem using pull tabs. The IRS does not have a problem with it. Again, we were happy to provide you with the results of whatever the IRS provided, work with staff, but I ask that you consider not removing that because it will be devastating to this organization that's been here since 1976. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else in the audience who'd like to make a comment? Seeing none, bring this item back for council. Does the council have any comments or questions?
So I can step in and provide some clarity and some recommendations. The ordinance before you tonight is for introduction and first reading. So if the council were to move forward with it tonight without any changes, then we'd bring it back to you for approval at your next council meeting. Alternatively, if the council makes changes to it, it can be introduced with changes tonight and can be adopted. If we have to make changes to it subject to review or subject to verification, my recommendation would be to bring it back to council for reintroduction at that point, so we'd continue the public hearing so that we don't have to renotice it. Mr. Warda is correct. He did reach out to me regarding the pull tab language specifically. I haven't had a chance to do a deep dive into this. I don't know for a fact whether the IRS does in fact have any restrictions on this use, but there is regulations under the penal code that do allow for use of this method for bingo games under very specific restrictions, as was mentioned, for charitable organizations, and it has to be structured within a very specific framework. So with that, my recommendation is for the council to continue the introduction of this ordinance to your next meeting so that I can provide a little bit more clarity and bring it back to the council with additional information.
So I would like to continue it moving forward, but I would like to see what it would look like allowing the pull tabs back on it, pending your research into it. So my recommendation would be to continue this moving forward, but to see what it would look like allowing that hall to continue using pull tabs and to continue collecting that revenue and using it for its charitable outreach programs that it's already currently running.
Councilmember Vieira.
Thank you. I'm just looking it up online. I do see where the games pull tabs can be legal. I don't know the backing on why the police, I'm sure there's a reason they added this, which I don't have the background information for. I do have concerns because when it comes to the hot ball bingo, from what I can see from the Gambling Penal Code 326.5, that this may not necessarily be legal. And so that's where I think my only concern there is when it comes to the Penal Code 326.5. When it comes to the hot ball aspects, but I'm interested in the police as to why they felt this is needed, because I think that's what it comes down to, is what the police department feels comfortable with and why they added this provision in it.
And I do know that staff did work with our office to review it. So I also have to do a little bit of digging myself as to the ins and outs of that. But just upon review tonight and based off of what I've been able to ascertain as well, I think we need a little bit more time to look specifically into the pull tab and hot ball bingo component and most likely bring it back with clarifying language for the council's consideration.
Chief, did you want to add something?
Yeah, it clearly states in the tax exempt organization and gaming handbook from the IRS that I can read this. Instant bingo, mini bingo, and similar pull tabs or scratch off games do not qualify. In these games, a player plays a wager by purchasing a card containing pre-printed numbers or a pattern covered by tabs or film. By uncovering the numbers or pattern, the player discovers whether the card is a winner. Unlike bingo, meaning the exclusion of the winners of these games are predetermined. There's also case law that backs it up that says that they found that the pull tabs, hot ball, instant bingo are not considered a game of bingo.
City Attorney.
Like I said,
with that information,
we'll need additional time to look into that. So again, my recommendation is if the council's desire is to make any changes to our current code to continue this item so that I can take a second look and bring it back to you.
Yeah, I will support Martinez into taking a look, and that way we can double check and verify. And thank you, Chief, for bringing that up.
Because as the chief said, we have to look into the interplay of those regulations. And again, not having had the benefit of looking at that before literally tonight, I just want to make sure that we address those, what I will say are now 4 things: pull tab, hot ball bingo, and specifically case law, as the chief referenced, and the IRS regulations.
But I will say thank you, Chief, and all the hard work that you guys have put into this. Sure, absolutely.
We don't use hot ball. I don't think anybody does. So there's no objection to including hot ball in the objection in the restriction. It's not something we've ever done. And I think we're both right. I think that we're just misunderstanding how the rules apply for using it as part of a bingo game. The pull tab restriction that you're hearing is true, that if you're using just pull tabs as a standalone game, like if you go to Alaska, for example, you can go to a bar and they sell you pull tabs and you pull and you see if you win and they pay you money right there if you win. This game is different because they use the pull tab to develop bingo numbers, and it's tied in, it's developed specially for bingo. And that's the distinction that I think that you'll find hopefully before, and I'll do my best to provide information. But we can both be right in this circumstance, and I think we both are right in this circumstance.
That'd be great if you guys can all have a conversation afterwards. Yes, absolutely. Councilwoman Vieira.
Just before you leave, is there another word or phrase that you use so that way we can make sure the ordinance is written correctly to address what you're specifically addressing as opposed to what the law and what our police chief is reading in the IRS code?
Yes. And I think the easiest way to do it is there's several cities that have really good language that they've already developed, and I can share that with your council and go through that and share that with Chief. Like, for example, Long Beach has a very nice ordinance that deals with it. It says, for example, again, you can't win more than $500 per game. There's certain ways, and it's got to be tied in with the bingo. It can't be an independent standalone game where you're selling a pull tab. So I can't give you the stuff that I found, but I was brought into this recently as well, and I'd like to, this is continuance, is really appreciated, and we'll get all the information over and try and present it in a way that can be used efficiently.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now that we've gone to the public, right? Okay, bring this item back after we just had the discussion. Do we have to make a motion to?
Yes, so the motion would be, my recommendation would be to make a motion to continue this item to the next city council meeting, which would be in August, and we have to specifically state the date, for introduction and first reading. So it would be a motion to introduce this on the 11th.
Okay.
To continue the public hearing until August 11th.
And make sure, Vice Mayor, that you clarify about the pull tab.
Yes. Go ahead, sir. You had a question, Mr. City Manager?
Yes, is that going to give you enough time to look at it? Because the staff reports are now due a month in advance. So is that, or you want to put it back to maybe August 28th?
I think we'll have it ready. We'll have it ready for the
11th?
Because in essence, I think we can.
Sounds good. Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
I'll make a motion to continue this ordinance to the next city council meeting, August 11th, with the additional verbiage or whatever will need to be changed in regards to pull tabs.
Second.
We get a roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Yes.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Item number 21, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Ceres adding Chapter 10 Tobacco and Smoke Shop Restrictions to Title 6 Health and Sanitation of the Ceres Municipal Code. Chief.
Mayor, council, members of the public, the next item that I'm bringing forward is a new ordinance regarding tobacco and smoke shop restrictions. In November of 2022, California enacted SB 793, which restricts the sale of any flavored tobacco. State and federal laws cover the outline restrictions. However, they don't deal with the administrative side of the licensing, ensuring local compliance. The Ceres Police Department, along with the state task force, the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration, CDTFA, have already completed several operations targeting compliance of the current smoke shops in Ceres. We have found multiple violations. These violations range from possession of dangerous weapons, brass knuckles, to illegal gambling machines, along with numerous citations for flavored tobacco. This ordinance will allow the Ceres Police Department to protect and preserve the public's health and safety. Some key points to this ordinance are it creates a permitting process, which will have established clear outlines and rules and regulations to be followed. It'll allow law enforcement full access to the business for compliance checks. It will allow for suspension or revocation of permits if necessary. These laws were enacted to prevent persons under the age of 21 from consuming tobacco. This ordinance, if passed, will do the same. Thank you, and I'm willing to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and go out to the public for any comments or questions on this item. Okay, bring this item back. And just for the record, Vice Mayor, your button doesn't seem to be working. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Chief. I just want to thank your team for bringing this item forward. I believe this was something that was brought to the PD by the mayor, myself, and was it Assemblyman Alanis had reached out. I believe at the time Chief Collins was still here. Like that's how much work and backlog you guys have done to get this ordinance to where it is. At the time I believe you were still a lieutenant. So I just want to say thank you for the multiple years of work, and I also want to make sure that I thank Assemblymember Alanis for his hard work and the work his team put in. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, Councilmember Otero, your button does work. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief, for that report. As a parent, I'm glad to see these changes, these amendments that will be done. It's really important for the protection of the youth in the community. One question I did have was how many smoke shops do we have in Ceres?
I believe we have 7 as of right now.
Okay. And when those shops are fined did that funding that comes to the city, does that go back to the police department for education and additional enforcement, or does it just go into just the general fund to be used?
Right now, I don't know how it's set up. Without this ordinance, all the funds go back to the state of California. With this ordinance, it will allow the funds to come back to us.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Councilwoman Vieira.
Thank you. And thank you, Taro, for asking the question that I was going to ask. I guess since she kind of asked where the money goes, my next question, does this make it easier for obtaining grants and enforcement? Because I know you guys are getting a lot of calls, and I know there's several shops that are high incident locations, just from my ride-alongs and my time that I've spent with you guys. So I'm just wondering if this makes it easier and the impacts that it would have on you and your team.
Yes, it will make it extremely easier for us, although the laws already exist for us to go in and check for compliance. This gives us the administrative power to go in to these shops for compliance checks that is regulated by the city standards, not so much the state. And with what we have found so far, will definitely lead into grants down the road. We have a 3-year grant. I think it's around approximately $80,000 over those 3 years for enforcement. So with what we are already finding, I'm sure that that will set us up for the next grant when it's available.
Chief, quick question. I know that we had talked about this, and it sounds like in this ordinance, they will be required to have security.
I don't think that that is in here. I know it was talked about, but in our ordinance, I don't believe that that is part of this. I did have a conversation about Modesto might be changing their ordinance and adding that, and that's something we could look at.
Okay, well, I think that we should do it now, because I know that the city of Modesto is now, I don't want to say the word regretting, but reconsidering doing that. Without saying if it's without proof or anything, but I've heard that, some of these smoke shops have also been carrying illegal marijuana. And I think that's outside of the grant, but that is very, very alarming to me, especially when we've heard several rumors. But with that being said, I would recommend that we do add that now and not have to come back. What that would look like, I guess that would be another city attorney question.
Most likely a continuance, same thing.
I'm sorry, Chief.
That's okay. I would like to add one thing. Sure. I'll never pass up a chance to give somebody credit. And Julian put a lot of time and effort into this. We've been working collaborative together. So thank you, Julian.
Julian, you've been going out on these tobacco busts? No, but thank you, Julian, as well. I know it takes a collaborative, especially in a small city like ourselves. It takes a village. So thank you very much. And I know that Serena, you did have pressure, but no, you're fine. Your button does work. Good.
Sorry, Chief. I had one more question. You said we have possibly seven smoke shops. Our city's not that big. Has the city considered at any time to limit the number of smoke shops? Is that something that we can incorporate into this as well? Maybe it's a question for our city attorney.
Defer to the chief on that, but yeah.
I don't know if we can restrict the number. I don't know if it could be a zoning issue, or if we can just add it to the ordinance. We would have to run that through the attorney.
We can work with the chief to figure out what a possible alternative would look like.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Vieira, go ahead.
Thank you. And thank you, Serena. I think that leads to my next question. Can we do something similar to what we've done with the mobile food vendors, where it has to be within far enough away from schools or parks or places from children? Because I think it's really important that we're not targeting or offering an extra opportunity for our youth. I'd rather have them out playing soccer or baseball.
That is already in here. It has to be 1,000 feet away from schools. I think there's some other regulations on that, but it doesn't limit the number.
Okay, and that can be at our, with attorney consideration, like, I know we had a limit to our mobile food vendors, which is why that, to me, is something that comes to mind. If we're having a limit on our food vendors, or mobile food vendors, is that something we can do with the smoke shops as well?
That is something that we could consider. Additionally, some type of grandfathering component. And so in the event that they drop off, if there's a certain number, there's certain things that we could probably do. So again, we'll work with the chief. If it's the council's direction, we can work with the chief to bring back all options.
Okay, I'm going to leave this up to Vice Mayor for the motion. Do we need two separate motions or one motion, one for the limit and then one for the security amendment?
Do you think you can include it in one? We just need, for this item, my recommendation is just to give us direction on what you want us to evaluate specifically. I think we need more time than that. So I don't want to, this one, I don't want to commit to a shorter turnaround time.
Chief, do we have time?
As far as when to bring this back?
Like, will this affect what we're trying to accomplish as far as enforcement?
No, we can currently operate off the state laws. It just doesn't give the administrative tool that, but yeah, we can still enforce the state laws.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, go ahead.
you could use two options. One, you could go ahead and pass what it is and then come back and add additional stuff to the ordinance.
That would require us to go through this whole process again. So I would rather not do that.
I didn't.
He said that, no, go ahead, tell her what you just said.
He said to pass it and then make a referral to come back and add those additionally.
It's an option,
But will that be
A little convoluted.
but
similar? I'd rather just do what we just did with the last ordinance.
If I may, I have a motion.
the
You may.
challenge with that is ordinances don't go into effect until 30 days after they're adopted.
Correct.
So by the time, and if we get back to this, there's probably not going to be that much time difference and it could get a little complicated. So it's an option. If it just, I think, depends on the council's desire to have something on the books right away and then work towards making it better. Or if you prefer for us to bring back specific alternatives to the items that might be addressed in a motion.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
I would like to continue this to the second city council meeting in August 28th, and additionally add security guard requirements and look into limiting the current number of smoke shops within the city of Ceres.
I'll second. Get a roll call.
Councilmember Casey,
Yes.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much. Moving on to new business. It sounds like item number 22 is being continued to a future meeting, but I will open this up to the public if there's any comments or questions. Seeing none, bring this on back to council for comments or questions. Oh, I think he's leaving. Or did you have a comment for 21? I mean, 22?
Sure, if there was a public hearing for the prior.
We hold public comment for the, I think we did hold.
We did.
Apologize, I was.
Oh, no worries, thank you. Okay. We are continuing item number 22. Moving on to number 23. Consideration of abolishment of unauthorized use of the city name, seal, logotype, and insignia by city council members James Casey and Sereno Otero in violation of the Ceres Municipal Code, section 103010. This is City Attorney Nubia.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and council members. Before you tonight, we have an item for the council's consideration based off of direction that I received from the city council at your previous meeting on July 14th. So to give a little bit of context before we dive into it, I want to make clear to the council and to the public that this item is not an item for censure. It's not an item for a reprimand. It's an admonishment. So let's start with that. So that's the first probably kickoff to the agenda item. And I can, as we go through this, explain what the difference is. But I wanted to at least reference a public comment that happened a little bit earlier regarding this item. So before you tonight, it's a council directed item for consideration of an admonishment. An admonishment under the municipal code is one of the three mechanisms that council members under our municipal code have to address, and I'll put it this way, alleged breaches of city protocol or rules by an elected member of office. And in this case specifically, the reason why this was brought up is that earlier this year, so just a few months ago, there was an advertisement that was placed in the Ceres Courier that was presented in a way that was made, submitted, or paid by Councilmember Casey and Councilmember Otero, inviting the public to attend a city council budget workshop that was scheduled for June 2nd. Following that, there was an additional mailer that was distributed to Ceres residents, so something that they received. I'm not sure if it was by mail specifically, maybe just placed on their doorstep, but it was of a similar nature, which was an invitation from the council members to attend the budget workshop as well. Both the advertisement and the mailer used the city's logo. So again, another clarifying point for discussion for tonight is that this item is brought before council specifically to address the use of the city's logo. It is not to address the fact that mailers were sent out or to invite members of the public. We are focused, this item is really focused on the use of the city's logo. So under the municipal code, there's a specific provision that states that any person, basically any individual that is to use the name, seal, or logo of the city cannot do it unless they have express authorization of the city manager to do it before they use it. The idea behind this, the best way to describe it is that the city's logo is like a trademark. It is an official way to identify city-sponsored communications and things that are specifically authorized on behalf of the entity that is the city. This rule applies likewise to elected and appointed members of the city. There is a specific provision in your rules and procedures that address the use of the logo and specifically states and requires council members to refrain from using city letterhead, correspondence, or logos when expressing their opinions as an individual to the public. Again, the idea behind both the municipal code provision and the rules and procedure provision is to make clear that if a city logo is to be used, it's been authorized or speaks on behalf of the city. If the council authorizes the use of the logo, it can do so as part, again, it's something that would be agendized and would be authorized by the city council or as part of some longstanding policy or procedure. But presently we have a restriction on using the logo in the municipal code and the restriction in the rules and procedures. Again, the idea behind this item is to address only the logo. So those are the technical rules regarding the use of the city's logo. And the item has been formulated and brought forward for the council's consideration as an admonishment. And so remember how I started off the agenda item by stating that there's three general mechanisms that council members can use when addressing alleged actions by another council member. So there's the admonishment, there's a reprimand, and there's a censure. And there's varying degrees to what those mean and what the impacts are. So an admonishment is not a formal finding of wrongdoing. It is not intended to serve as some type of reprimand or formal, I think, any kind of fact finding that something was done intentionally or wrongfully. An admonishment really serves as a warning and most importantly, a reminder to everyone about the rules and procedures that council members, and because this applies to council members and to other appointed officials, that must be followed. So that's an admonishment. The next level or degree is a reprimand. A reprimand is more formal in nature and requires some type of determination that a rule has been broken and that it's been broken intentionally or maybe even unintentionally, but there's a finding. And there's specific provisions in your municipal code that address how reprimands are meant to be conducted because they have to follow a very specific protocol. Censure is the most egregious or more the most heaviest form of potential response to an alleged action by a council member, because in essence, it is asking for a vote of no confidence, which usually results in, again, whatever action the council wants to take. But it's a very strong response to something that has allegedly happened. So those are the three mechanisms. Again, it's a reminder to the council. The council did request, the majority of the council did request this item, again, really from the perspective of a warning and a reminder of what the rules are. It's not any fact finding that the rules were breached intentionally, that it was done with the intent to harm the city's standing or to speak on behalf of the city. This is just, it's a reminder of what the rules are, and hopefully we can move forward from there. So with that, I can answer any questions that council may have.
Thank you very much. We'll now open this to the public. Is there anybody in the chambers that would like to make a comment? We have one. Oh, go ahead, Brandy.
I don't tend to make comments on these types of issues. I've already introduced myself. Could this have been done privately? Given this information to the council members?
Which information?
Everything that you just read, talking to the council members for what they did. I just kind of feel that it's sort of an embarrassment for our council members for us to sit out here and listen to them rather than just speaking to them in private about the ordinance. I read it. I mean, it's pretty clear. I'm just wondering why this is being done publicly.
This item is being done publicly because it was the request of the majority of the city council members at the previous council meeting. This was a closed session agenda item, and it was requested by 3 of the council members.
Okay. Well, I think it should have been in private.
John Warren, City of Ceres. I too think this should have been done privately, but 3 council members chose to have this done publicly. The 2 council members that are mentioned here, Mr. Casey and Ms. Otero, were not allowed to sit with the other council members when this was decided. So those of us here know who the 3 council members were that brought this out to the general public. It's my understanding that the city attorney was sent an email requesting permission to do what was done. And the city attorney chose not to respond to that email and give direction, which I believe she is paid to do when a council person asks information from the attorney. So I find it the fault of some of the staff members and the people that our council look to for direction. There was a deadline for things to be mailed out to the public so they could receive them in time to come to the June 2nd public meeting in regards to the budget. And there's also a paper deadline for that information to be put in the paper. So I think city attorney should have responded to the person who made the request so they would know if this action was proper or not. Permission was sought and permission was not advised by the people that should have been doing that. So I think this should have been handled differently. So we're not here today in a very embarrassing situation. And I wouldn't have to be making these comments. Thank you.
The city attorney mentioned that you cannot use the logo to express an opinion. The flyer was an invitation for us to come to the meeting. I don't recall reading on the flyer that I received in the mail that Mr. Casey was expressing an opinion about the meeting that was to be held, he was requesting that the public participate. For the 2 prior years, the mayor had the budget adopted at a special meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning when most citizens cannot participate. This was the first time in the last 3 years that we had a meeting late in the evening. I was not able to come because I had work commitments, but it's one that all Mr. Casey was trying to do was to invite the citizens of the city to come and participate in the budget adoption. The council adopted a budget with a $1.9 million deficit. There was no fund balances reported on there. The previous year, the city manager's report referred to that the budget for the 25 fiscal year was maintaining the general fund reserve at 20%. Now, if there was no addition to the fund balance, using $1.9 million, we took the fund balance below the council adopted policy of 20%. So what are we really talking here? Is somebody embarrassed that Mr. Casey sent out a flyer trying to get the community to be involved and now is trying to chastise him for that spending of his own personal money? Thank you.
Sir, can we get your name for the record?
Albert Avila.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the public? Welcome.
I already introduced myself earlier, but I'm here up again because I just wanted to personally thank, again, like I said at the budget workshop, for these 2 council members that actually took the initiative to increase civic engagement of the population that it serves. And this is a reminder to each and one of you guys that the funding, all the money is the people's money of the city of residents, and you guys work for us, okay? And we need to increase the amount of civic engagement that the city of Ceres has at these council meetings. And in addition, there should be like at least a head count of how many people attend these meetings at the very end in the minutes. Because if I don't know, if it wasn't for that budget workshop flyer that came out in the mail, I wouldn't be here today. And I wouldn't have done all the research that I have done in the last few weeks when I should have been on vacation. Okay, I looked through the website. There's a lot of outdated stuff. Okay, we appointed Trenton Johnson as the chief of police, right, a few weeks ago, but we still have the prior chief of police on the website. So this is a system failure. So do not blame it on these 2 individuals. Because money spent, the money that the flyer was put forth was private money from these 2 council members. So you're telling me that the city of Ceres cannot even publish a city flyer to inform its residents of such an important workshop? That's insane. Okay, that's all.
Is there anybody else in the council in the meeting?
I still have 2 minutes, but I just want to, I've been talking to my neighbors and stuff after I attended the budget workshop, and they agree, and it's not just coming here to the council meetings and saying, oh, this is what the city is doing. It's actually going to your neighbors and actually having a conversation with them. That's how you engage folks. It's not just by sending something in the newsletter, it's holding town hall meetings of what's going on. And I just want to say that I appreciate the effort that Serena Otero does on her Instagram page that allows residents of at least her district, District 3, of what's going on, on the parks or upcoming agendas and what's on upcoming agendas. So I want to just include I don't know, something in the referral for an upcoming council meeting, that you guys include that for every district, not just District 3, like District 4, which I pertain to, Mr. Martinez. But yeah, there shouldn't just be one district, because information is power and you guys are just shielding it. That's it. For now.
Anybody else in the chambers? Let's go to a hand raised.
Mr. Yeakley, your mic is unmuted.
Gene Yeakley series. I think the few people that come up to the podium for this issue are right on. This is blatantly something that should have never happened with the three people that brought this forward. It should have been like some of the people mentioned, behind closed doors. These two individuals, Mr. Casey and Serena Otero, I don't live by them. They're not in my district. I do know them short term, and I know that this wasn't something intentional, and they were only trying to help the city. And I'm looking at the two flyers that was sent out. One did have the logo on it, and that was for the public budget workshop. And the second one was paid for Jim Casey, and it was for the city council meeting on June 23rd, 2025. Again, that gentleman, this last gentleman that got up, he spoke and said that, you know, without these flyers, he would never know, because some of these things, and I've been coming to some of these things, and the notices in the hallway on those little boards when they come in for the senior lunch program, sometimes it's on there, and you look at them, you go, wow, man, that's at 7 in the morning, or it's in the afternoon or something where nobody can attend. This, again, I don't believe was intentional. They were only trying to help where something was missing. And there's a lot of things that are missing that the public needs to be aware of. And they were only trying to get something out to inform the general public. And tonight I seen a few more people there. I hope more people come. But don't hold this against those two people. This is totally wrong. You can, the city attorney admonishment or whatever that's called, you know, I think they know now that they can't use this logo, and it's time to let it go. This should have never been brought up. And those three people on the city council that brought this up, they should have included Serena and Jim Casey when they were making this decision. They should have been in on it. So please consider this on your judgment. And I think the general public, the few people here, I think we all know the difference between right and wrong. So tonight, if you're going to make some kind of statement or decision, make sure you do the right thing. All right, thank you.
Is there anybody else? Okay, I'll bring this item back to the council. I believe Mr. Casey has already pressed his button. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I because of the Brown Act, wasn't able to share my thoughts about the mailing with more than one council person. I would like to give each one of you a copy of the email that Mr. Warren brought up. I did send a message, and in that email, I've got the attachments where I've asked the printer to remove some information to include the seals. And I kind of forgot about it, but then he called me, said, hey, if you want this to be out in time, you got to make a decision. So I said, yeah, and do it with the changes. Well, he did a few of the changes, but not all of the changes. And not that I understood, well, obviously I understood that I wasn't supposed to use them, but nobody got back to me. And of course, when Doug When the city manager first approached me and said that the mayor and the vice mayor think that you did something wrong, I said, but I sent you the email. Nobody got back to me to say, yeah, that's the right thing. There's no other changes you need to make. And city manager reminded me that I didn't send it to him, which was correct. I did send it to the attorney, our attorney. So yeah, it turned out to be wrong. I didn't intend it to be wrong. And for certain, absolute certain, Serena shouldn't be involved in this at all because she was not privileged to the final mailing. So I want to give you copies of the email to each of the council people. And it really doesn't matter to me how you vote. But you can see the last mailer, because of the time delay of making a decision, and it actually didn't go out properly to the right people. But you can see the last mailer, it was sent out first-class mail. So those of you that have been involved in campaigns, there's a substantial difference. So it was important to me to get the information. Since I've been here, there's two things I've stressed: communication and a budget, communication and audit and information. And it's fallen on deaf ears. So this was an opportunity to get the public involved. And we got a few that came. You can vote any way you want. It doesn't matter. I recognized, I knew that it was wrong. I sent for the corrections. I waited for an answer. I didn't get an answer. I did get a call. If you don't send it first class, it's not going to get out in time. As it turned out, it didn't get out in time to reach all the people. But yeah, that's my story. And I guess, as they say in some parts of the world, I'll stick to it.
Councilmember Otero.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to read a statement here that I wrote actually on May 30th when I first received the phone call from the city manager. On May 30th, 2025, I received a phone call from the city manager regarding a potential violation involving the use of the City of Ceres logo and my title, council member, on a flyer inviting residents to a public budget workshop. I was told that a few council members had raised concerns and contacted the city manager directly. Those council members were Mayor Lopez and Vice Mayor Martinez. I did not receive any phone calls or messages from our mayor or vice mayor personally. Out of respect for our city policies, I immediately contacted the city attorney that same day to gain a clear understanding of what I had violated. She confirmed that the use of the city logo without approval from the city manager is a violation of the municipal code. I want to be clear that before the flyer and ad was distributed, an email was sent by Councilmember Casey to the city attorney with the city manager included, seeking support and input. Unfortunately, no response was received from either. While it would be easy to focus on the missteps or point fingers, I will keep this simple. I sincerely apologize for the use of the city logo. My only intent was to inform and invite our residents to participate in the public budget workshop, which is an important opportunity for transparency and community involvement. I didn't hear about or see the city taking extra steps to ensure the public was invited to the workshop. I will not apologize for the written details in this flyer, for working to reach our residents and for doing what I was elected to do, promote transparency, encourage our public engagement, and serve the people of District 3 and represent the city of Ceres to the best of my ability. It's unfortunate that the use of personal funds to increase outreach was overshadowed by criticism over a logo. The focus should have been on the importance of public participation in this budget process. What's more disappointing is the ongoing lack of transparency and communication that has existed in our city government. Based on my brief time sitting on the council, it is clear there is not much partnership or teamwork, which is why I decided to join efforts with Councilmember Casey. Again, I fully accept responsibility for the oversight. My commitment to serving this community with openness, transparency, and integrity remains unchanged. Again, I just want to address that in good faith. There was an email sent to our city manager and city attorney, but no response was received. I am here to serve our community from my heart, not my interests, but what's the public's best interest in mind. We're all human. No one is perfect, whether that is professionally or personally. Mistakes can happen. I've been a part of many teams and projects and committees throughout my professional career. In my full-time job, I do manage an entire division of approximately 74 personnel. When a mistake occurs on an effective team, the leaders and team members will address it directly with one another and work together to correct it so we can all move forward. And unfortunately, in this instant, that did not occur. As an elected official, I understand the importance of accountability and holding our own self accountable. Again, I accept responsibility in this, and I have made note to ensure that this does not occur again. I will continue to take part in transparency and involve the public as I was elected to do. Thank you.
Councilwoman Vieira.
Thank you. And I appreciate both Casey and Otero coming forward. As he had mentioned, there's Brown Act, so we have not had any kind of dialogue between us. And ultimately, this was just a reminder for all of us. It wasn't meant to be a disciplinary type. At least that was my understanding. I think it was more of a reminder. And I had asked for all of us to be reminded of what some of the policies were. Because again, we get really close every now and then. But I guess the information that was shared with me is differing from what I'm hearing tonight, because my understanding was there were meetings prior, is what was communicated with me, that there was an email that was sent out and that it was responded to with a no, and they went ahead and moved forward. So that's why I'm a little confused as to what's going on. I do appreciate both of them for taking the opportunity and trying to be more inclusive. I just wish the flyer that went out, although it was really a nice flyer, was more inclusive of the team so we could be more together as opposed to exclusive. And it felt like that we were kind of excluded and not part of the team. And from hearing comments from the community, it almost sounds that way, like we're not trying to include everyone. And I think that was just kind of my concern that came forward once this was brought to my attention. Again, I appreciate their efforts. It wasn't something that I brought forward. I do understand the logo, and that's why I brought this, when we talked about this, again, my interpretation is different than what I'm hearing tonight, but it was just a reminder for all of us just to kind of, on all three, and I'd ask for all three committees and all of the employees just to kind of remind all of us of what our expectations are and making sure that we're continuing to do those expectations. I don't want any kind of disciplinary action. I did want this. I thought from our discussions that this was already dealt with behind closed doors and that they went ahead and moved forward. So there's a lot of miscommunication, and I'm really sorry that it did come out. I do agree this should have been initially done behind closed door session, but my understanding was it was, and they went ahead and moved forward. So I guess my comments were just, I just want us to be more exclusive, working together as a team, and in no way, shape, or form was this meant to be disciplinary, but just more of a reminder that we all need to be working as a team, and we do need to follow the policies and procedures that are set forward so that way we can continue to follow the guidelines and meet the expectations of both the city and the community.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I am in favor of admonishment. It is just a warning. Whether it was intentional or not, there was a rule that was broken. I know we expect accountability. We're requesting transparency. We're asking so much of all of our directors and city staff, so we have to be accountable as well. So I do support it. But I do want to point out that I just heard twice that both of them were reached out to by you from me. And I want to clarify, you called me, sir, and said that there was a flyer sent out in the mail and there's going to be a closed session item discussing it. I want to make sure that everyone here knows I didn't reach out to punish or be malicious or anything. You contacted me and let me know there was going to be a closed session meeting about this. It was from two different people right now. I heard that myself and the mayor reached out requesting this to be put on a closed session. And I want to clarify that's not how that happened. But again, I do support the admonishment. My time in the planning commissioner, I was held to strict requirements, and any missteps that I perceived to have taken was met with punishment. So I understand that we have to be accountable. We have to make sure we understand the rules since we are the policymakers here ourselves, and a violation was done. So that's what I wanted to get that off.
Thank you. And I will say that I support the admonishment as well, but I wasn't, I didn't know that this was going to be on this city council meeting. I was told that it was possibly going to be in a future date. We had a conversation, you and me, city attorney. You told me that Serena said, go ahead and put it on the agenda and get it over with. Is that correct?
So let me begin with, there's been a lot of statements made by the council about communications that happened before the transmission, after the transmission, and following the transmission. So I'd be more than happy to address the information that I have and maybe some comments that were made by the public. However, I do need direction from the council to authorize me to let you know what was said basically in attorney-client privileged information regarding this matter in order to provide you some context. Because again, there's information that has been stated here tonight that probably could use a little bit of clarification, specifically as it relates to communications that happened before.
I'm okay with that.
Is it okay with you, Casey and Otero, with her communicating what was transpired between you guys? That wasn't part of the conversation, so I don't know how you guys feel.
Is that a conversation that's going to be here in public?
Yes.
Okay, and can happen right now?
Yes, I need the council's authorization again, because communications that were transmitted to the city attorney and to the city manager and the same communications protected, but I need authorization from the council to speak to that, because without that, then it doesn't, I don't know that I can provide much information in response to some of those things.
Yeah, I'm interested in hearing I'm really interested in hearing what our city manager has to say, because apparently, so Vice Mayor didn't call you that day. So you told me that it was the mayor and the vice mayor, so I was lied to. That's not okay.
I didn't tell you that they.
You did.
No, I did
You
not.
fail on
I
your
said you violated my section.
And you did tell me that, and that's
Did
frustrating.
not.
So before we go any further, again, I need direction from the council on whether it's okay to share the information that I have in those communications that I've had with each of you and received from the council members.
Okay, then I'm going with it.
I'm okay.
Councilmember Casey is the only one to.
Then yes, that's okay. Yes, for me.
So a few points of clarification first. To Councilmember Vieira's point, this is not disciplinary in nature. This is not, it's intended to be a reminder and a warning about what the rules are. Second, the item before you tonight is to discuss the warning regarding the use of the logo. It's not intended to comment on individual council members' use of their own money to provide notice to the public of meetings that are happening, right? This is literally just about the use of the logo. It's not about the fact that the mailers were sent out at all. That's not the issue. Third, Councilmember Casey has made a statement, and there's a comment from a member of the Council of Communications that were sent to the city manager and to myself leading up to the publication of the mailer. In that email, Councilmember Casey requests some feedback on a mailer that he was proposing to publish in the newspaper, but his statement specifically stated, this will not have the logo. And that's inherently what, from my perspective, is, I think, the issue here. So the statement was made that it was not going to have the logo. Councilmember Casey is correct in the sense that we did not respond. I did not have a chance to speak with him quickly enough. And his email did state that he was going to send a proof for review, and that proof never came. I never received a proof of what was actually going to be published in the paper. Aside from that, I think the city manager can speak as to the specific request for this, but that's the information that I've conveyed to the council. This is information that I have to date. I have spoken with the council members outside of this context as requested previously. As Councilmember Otero has stated, we've had a conversation about this. I have spoken with Councilmember Casey as well. And that's the information that I have. If you have specific questions, I can answer those.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, sure. And city attorney, city manager, you're absolutely right. I said that, and on the email attached, I removed all those things. I was waiting for a response to say, yeah, that's right, or maybe you still need to remove this or that. The time restraints of getting it published, I made the decision to go ahead, and I didn't get approved. I just want to make that clear. I mean, yeah, I asked, I didn't get an answer, and I, you know, I've sent this. They have copies of the email and the copy of the attachment to that. I don't know if it makes any difference, but yeah, you're correct.
Serena.
I recently had to have a conversation with our city attorney and our city manager. In typical email fashion, email etiquette, especially when you work in a leadership role, we know how important it is to acknowledge an email. And even if I don't have time to reply to it right now, at least acknowledge it. Hey, I received this, I can get back to you. Because then it lets the other person know they've received it, I can follow up with them. In this case, there was no response. Again, there was no ill intention behind this. It was simply just trying to get public notice out. It's an error that has been noted and won't occur again.
Okay, so it sounds like we've heard everyone here today. And if he wants to speak, he'll let me know. Sir, do you want to speak? Okay, go ahead.
So I was made aware of the city seal being used. I did receive an email. I was not the main primary person on that email. I was secondary. I did contact the city attorney, and she goes, well, we're supposed to get a proof. And so let's wait and see what the proof looks like, because it did say no logos on it. And so we waited. Shortly after that, it came out, and the newspaper had the logos and everything on it. That's when I called the city manager or city attorney up and said, this has been violated under the, municipal code. She goes, you need to contact both Serena and the council member Casey. They advise them of their violation of stuff. You need to reach out to the council members and see if there's any problem with them. I contacted Councilman Casey and Councilmember Otero. I explained both of them. They both asked what section they violated. I explained to them what section. I don't remember if you asked for a copy of it or not, the section, but I think Casey did. I sent that out. I told both of you that I was going to be contacting the other city council members and get their input to see if anything wants to be done. Councilman Casey asked me, whatever I want to do to him, he was ready. Go ahead and do it. I go, it's not me that he has to answer to. It has to be his peers. That would be the other three council members. And that's what I was said. And so then I made the contact to you, contacted Vice Mayor Martinez and Mayor Lopez, and also Councilmember Vieira regarding this, and they all expressed concerns. And so that's how it ended up on closed session.
Thank you. Serena, go ahead.
I'm not going to sit here and lie about what happened, but I was told by our city manager that the council members that brought it forward was the mayor and vice mayor.
Mr. Casey?
I was told the same thing.
Okay, so I will reiterate, the main focus of today is a warning. And in order for this to even begin, there needed to be a closed session. So, but here we are. We've heard everyone here, and we should move forward. There is no action, correct?
If it's the council's desire. I think that the intention behind the warning, or more, I think, to Councilmember Vieira's point, a reminder to everybody that this is again, the item, I think the intent behind it was, it's not disciplinary in action. It's not is some type of reaction other than to remind everyone, because this is a reminder to public officials generally in the city of Ceres that the city's use of the logo is exclusive to city and the council as a whole to approve. So that was the request, and that's why we brought it forward. It's up to the council if you want to take act. You don't have to take action on it. If it's the council's desire to leave it as is.
Make a motion to approve item number 23.
I will second.
Is there an approval that needs to be made or action that needs to be made?
I believe there's a motion and a second to approve this item as stated in the staff report.
Okay. And I'm sorry, the first was Vice Mayor Martinez and the second was Mayor Lopez.
Yes. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Can I even vote?
You can.
I abstain.
Councilmember Vieira,
No.
Councilmember Otero,
I abstain.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Yes.
Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
motion fails.
No warning. Moving on to item number 24. Declaring an intention to levy and collect fees for the 1987 Landscape and Lighting District of fiscal year 2025-26, and direct the city engineer to sign the Public Works Director to file an engineer report and establish August 11th, 2025 as a public hearing for the levy of the annual assessment. Engineer.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, members of the public. So we wanted to bring this forward to you. This is actually just declaring the intent to levy and collect fees for the landscape and lighting districts that we have throughout the city. So a little background, this is a little bit different than CFDs. This is for just landscape and lighting. And there's a map within the appendix of the engineer's report that shows where those districts are. It also gives some detail on what the general increase is. In this case, this year, that general increase is approximately 2.23%. So with landscape and lighting districts, like I said, they pay for streetlights, they pay for landscaping in the public right-of-way around the city. So I wanted to go over what would happen if we choose a different option. So if we approve it, the rate goes into effect. We file it with the county clerks, and they apply the assessment to the property taxes. There is right now there's 600 and I believe it's 37,000 in a total budget for the LLD. 492,000 of that actually comes from the assessments, and that's what's in our fiscal year 26 budget. That leaves still $145,000 shortfall that we don't get from those assessments that the general fund does supplement. So when we look at these types of taxes that homeowners know, it's given to them when they buy homes. It's essentially a Mello-Roos tax. And so as we go through and prices increase, contract services for landscaping increase, rates for electricity increase, we don't keep up with what is actually being paid, and that's shown by having a deficit to where the general fund needs to supplement the landscape and lighting district. So just by TID, I think increased rates between 5 and 6%. So we actually fall behind, being that we can only increase by the West Urban CPI, which is 2.234%, I believe, for last year. So really, as we compound these rates over the years after these districts have been annexed, essentially that shortfall gets bigger and bigger and bigger. In COVID, we had a point in time where it was 8-9%. Well, again, we can only go so much based on the CPI and based on the law for maximums. So in the report, you'll also see where each landscape and lighting district or annexation within the district has shortfalls. Some of them 50,000, some of them 29,000. So we see all of those types of things. And so I think it's incumbent to explain this, that, you know, when we look to increase these, we're not trying to make sure that we're keeping up, because we're not going to keep up. The rates of electricity, labor rates, raises, all of those types of things, you know, increase generally more than what we're allowed to increase by law. So I wanted to bring that forward, you know, so that if you guys have any questions before we get to the public hearing, we can address those in the staff report and prepare those answers for you as we come back to actually have the public hearing and look at adopting what staff recommends, which is the 2.23% increase, or you guys can think about any modifications that you may want for that. You know, I would not recommend, you know, denying it outright. That consequence would mean that another $492,000 would shift to the general fund, creating just a bigger shortfall in both the districts and the general fund. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. We'll open this up to the public. Any members of the public would like to make a comment on this item? Seeing none. Oh, actually, Mr. Warren.
John Warren, City of Ceres. I have a question. What's the 2.3% average? What does it equal? What each person's rate going to increase?
So in the report, they actually vary, and I'm going to get down to the actual ones. I don't have all of the numbers memorized.
An average.
Well, so they all vary. So for instance, there's single family residences that go from $27.33 in the 24-25 fiscal year to $27.94 in this fiscal year. Let me get down. So West Point, this is one with actually a decent shortfall. The calculated rate of assessment is actually $91.90, but the maximum rate we can assess is $40.10, giving us a shortfall of $35,172. The Brown median landscaping, the 24-25 rate was $81.04. The 25-26 rate is $82.85. And this gives us a projected shortfall of $29,862. Brown Park maintenance, the 24-25 rate was the maximum assessment rate, excuse me, was $107.75. The 25-26 maximum assessment rate is $110.15. However, the 25-26 actual rate is only $34.33. So that's creating a major shortfall in that fund. And so Dara Street landscaping, the 25-26 assessment, and this is only looks like for landscaping, $32.89, which leaves us a shortfall of $15,595. Devontae landscaping, 24-25 maximum rate. So the calculated assessment rate was $1,000.50. The 24-25 maximum rate was $364.45. The maximum assessment rate for 25-26 is $372.60, leaving us a projected shortfall of $34,535. Eastgate, the 24-25 calculated rate was $179.98. The 24-25 maximum rate was $78.18. The 25-26 maximum rate was $79.93, leaving us a projected shortfall of $138,475 in Eastgate landscaping.
Mike, I think he gets the point.
No problem.
That was very informative, Mike. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I bring this item back to the council for any comments and or questions. Oh, I'm sorry, Rosalinda, I keep putting my paper over the button. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Belcher, and I appreciate that information. I couldn't type as fast as you were speaking, but I did get most of it. I think some of my questions I just want to confirm. So basically, if we don't move forward with the increase, those rates that you had mentioned, the gaps between what we're spending versus what we're bringing in would come from the general fund or the reserves, correct? So that would increase the amount of reserves we're going to have to pull from in order to balance those accounts.
I would assume that it would come from general fund reserves, but yes, it will be covered by the general fund.
Okay. And then I know we had talked about this briefly before. Would that solar project, I know we had talked about briefly and it got tabled, would something like that actually work to decrease maybe some of the TID costs that we're having long-term? Obviously, the lights can't be installed overnight, but in the event that something like even changing the lights at the baseball field to LED from where they're at now, would that change or when this impact our LLDs at some point?
I would have to check on that, but I don't believe so. These are rates for the landscaping and lighting within the actual area that's on the map. So if they have 30 streetlights, then they pay the rate for the 30 streetlights. If they have generally landscaping is done by square footage and contract rates and those types of things. So those types of things would still have to be taken care of under the landscape and lighting district. But to know if solar would directly affect it, my guess is no. We use a ton of energy within the city, but that's, we would have to look into that.
Okay, it's just because it says lighting. If we move lighting to solar, generally that reduces your consumption. And then I think I just wanted to make sure that everything else I think was it, because I don't necessarily want to increase taxes, but at the same time I don't want to pull from reserves, and I think that's my biggest concern when it comes to this with the and then you said the proposed increase was the 2.23, and you said that's based on state West Coast determination. That's not something that you just randomly pick out of a hat, correct?
Correct. So it's the West Urban Consumer Price Index. There are lots of different consumer price index indices. There's regional ones, there's state ones, there's national. This one just happens to be based off of the West Urban CPI.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Any other council members have any comments or questions? Go ahead, council member.
Really quick, I just want to thank you, Mike, for all the information that you provided. It gives a clearer picture of what we are potentially going to approve here. So thank you.
Okay, looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 24.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Casey,
Yes.
Councilmember Vieira,
Yes.
Councilmember Otero,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Martinez,
Aye.
Mayor Lopez.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to discussion items. Number 25, council to discuss the options for developing a new strategic plan for the city manager.
Mayor and council members, staff recommends the council discuss the options available for regarding the development of a strategic plan for the city of Ceres. As recalls, a few months ago, Councilwoman Otero made a referral to upgrade our strategic plan. And then on March 10th, 2025, council directed the staff to look into the possibility of working on a new strategic plan. The current strategic plan was developed in 2007 with a revision in 2008. After another revision was completed in 2018, and the most current draft of strategic plan is dated March 23rd, 2020, under Resolution 2020-24. That update was only supposed to be valid for 2 years, and then the next update would be in 2022. Staff is recommending the council consider updating the strategic plan since it has been over 17 years since the original document was conceived. The update to the document would likely bring the updated information and the needs of the city into clearer focus. Staff reached out to various other cities to determine the cost incurred in creating a new strategic plan, and the rough estimate for the city of Ceres is roughly $35,000 is a possible cost of the strategic plan. Right now, the policy alternatives council has the following options: not to move forward with the creation of a new sheet plan at this time and put it into or build it into next year's budget, or move forward by directing staff to issue a request for proposals for a new strategic plan and to bring that back to council. Are there any questions?
Okay, I will open this up to the public. Any members of the public have any comments or questions? Seeing none, I bring this item back to the council. Any council members have any comments or questions?
Wanted to see if I can get Serena's kind of input, because again, originally I thought we did a strategic kind of conversation in here right after I was elected. So I know we never really got a whole lot of feedback from that, which I appreciate having something a little more thorough, but I just wanted to get your feedback because I don't know what happened to that report from the one we had. I think it was 2 years ago.
I had asked the city manager that he'd look into that. I thought we did something in 2022, an amendment.
That was with the prior city manager, and I'm not sure.
You were not here. Okay.
I was not here.
So wasn't it an amendment, or was it a full blown?
We had a big meeting in here and we had discussion. We had the boards up here.
Yep.
It was open to the public. I think Warren might have been
I
there.
remember now.
David Pratt, we're both, yeah, they're nodding. They're like, they were all here. And so that's why I'm just kind of like, what happened to that? Because I thought we did that too with Alex.
Ellen?
You are correct. We did do a workshop with a consultant, I think
Welcome back.
3 years ago. And in the process of that, we switched city managers, and I don't think that item, I think it kind of fell
It got
through
lost.
with the change of city managers.
That's what I thought. And I think that was one of my recommendations back in those days. Well, if that's the case, I think what is important is that we dig up those minutes because there was some direction given. And now we have a new council with some new input. So a little combination of both. So absolutely, as soon as I finish talking. So Mr. City Manager, that's my recommendation for that. Sarita?
Thank you, Mayor. I didn't know that there was something existing with the prior city manager, so that's good to know because I think it's going to be really helpful when we go into this new strategic plan update to kind of see what the community and what the previous council had decided on. I think it might make this update a little more simple, especially if the other one wasn't implemented.
Councilwoman Vieira?
I think I already called.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah,
And Vice Mayor, I know your button's not working, but did you have anything to say? Okay. So
This occurred in 2022.
So it sounds like you guys probably need to go back and do some digging on those minutes and bring this item back so we can add additional comments.
Alan, if it helps, I remember it was during the middle of the week and it was in the morning.
No, I do. I do recall the workshop, and quickly looking in my email, there are a couple tangible documents that resulted as part of that workshop. At some point, there were some documents, so we'll get that over to the city manager, and he can evaluate those and decide how to move forward with bringing an item back or not.
If that's just my recommendation to the council, we can do one or two things. We can present those items again in the workshop or bring the item back to council and discuss the items of that workshop.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
let us do some research first and see actually how much we have, and then we can bring it back to council for your decision and edification from there.
I'm okay with that as well. I'm looking for some thumbs here. Sarita? Okay. Mr. Casey, I didn't see. Okay, there you go, Mr. City Manager. Last one. Are you confused? Did I go to public comment? Did I could have swore I did.
Yes, you did.
Okay, yeah. I know it's late. Okay, moving on to item number 26. Fireworks regulation and fine schedule requested by Councilmember Otero via the city manager on July 7th. Councilmember Otero will introduce the item.
Thank you. When I was looking at the firework ordinance this past year, I noticed that it's restrictive. They're illegal, but I feel like we can add probably a little bit more language to the ordinance. I can't recall the last time that it was updated, but I'd also like to explore the options for an increased fine amount. So that way it can pay for, the services that our police department provides on 4th of July and anything else that might be needed for that night or the week coming up to it. So that's why I brought this referral. We can just explore some options to improve the ordinance.
I'll take this item out to the public. Any members of the public would like to make a comment on this item? Seeing none, this is a no action item, but only for consensus, left to right. Thumbs up. Yes, you may. I'll keep on blocking the button. I'm sorry. Councilwoman.
Thank you, Serena, for bringing this forward. Couple questions, because I thought we didn't update it this year, but I thought we did update the regulations last year. I may be wrong. We did something with it because I remember talking to TNT and they actually reviewed the program because I remember talking to them. I do think we need to do something because it was kind of crazy just the few days before and after the 4th of July. And definitely doing what we can when it comes to increasing fines, maybe matching the series or the cities next to us, as well as finding ways to collect the fines, because I do know that's another issue that we're having. And I think some of the cities are using their city attorney to address some of those issues and seeing if maybe we can collaborate in making sure that it's an enforceable fine as well.
Okay, Mr. Casey? Nothing, the thumbs up. Looking for consensus is all. Okay, there you go, city manager. Moving on to reports, I have nothing to report. Anyone from my left? Go ahead, Serena.
Thank you. I just want to keep everybody updated. I have some concerns recently with the old Walmart parking lot. I'm seeing an increase of vehicles parked there all hours, all the nighttime. I see an RV there. So I did reach out to our city manager. Someone on city staff has reached out to Walmart. My request was to have the fence put back up, which is the responsibility of Walmart. Walmart does have security that patrols a couple times a day, but I don't feel that it's enough. So I hope to see the fence put back up in that area. Also along the Eastgate Boulevard and then on Whitmore from Eastgate to Booth, the city right-of-ways have been looking a little not well kept, and we have gone into a new contract with a new landscape company. So I've been in communication with Sam. He's been really helpful in making sure that that company is doing the job that they were hired to do. So I hope to see that area cleaned up very soon. And then also I just want to say congratulations again to Fabiola's Auto Body, who opened on Whitmore 2 weeks ago, last week, thank you. I just want to welcome them again to our community.
Councilwoman Vera.
Thank you, Mayor. So last month we didn't have a homeless meeting with the Homeless Alliance. We do have one coming up. I do know there's this discussion from the last CSOC meeting about some changes when it comes to funding for emergency shelters. So some of that's being restricted or removed from this budget. But we're looking forward to seeing what we are going to be able to do in those discussions in our community. I've also been working towards alternative responses to the mental health issues and the non-policing. We do have 988 as a resource in the county. So for non-criminal mental health related calls, we do have 988. I'm also working with two other organizations, one based here in Ceres that's actually located at SRC when it comes to trying to address some of these issues here in the community. So that way you don't always have to call the police for a non-criminal mental health emergency. I am online. I know I do also have a Facebook, and I know Serena and I talk a lot online. We're always liking each other's comments and sharing a lot of each other's posts. So I think that's important as well if you want to stay connected, because it's hard to do a lot of these. Now, Tuscany Village, I know it went back into bankruptcy. We were having difficulty with finding a developer that was able to secure funding. It is now back in discussions. It does have an open contract, but again, they haven't been able to secure funding. So I am working with Doug and trying to make that move forward. And I don't know if Joey was going to touch on the senior boxes, the food boxes. I know we're looking at trying to get at least a minimum of 100 people for the senior food boxes. And then we also have something coming up in September, correct? September 3rd. We have, I'll let you go ahead and touch. You guys are working on that quite hard there. But we are seeing some slowing. Please reach out to our organizations. I know Brandy's in the back with our chamber. She's here to help businesses, make sure that we get out that community, make sure we're supporting our small businesses. Julian's here as well, and he's also here to support our businesses, whether you're starting, whether you're already in business. We definitely want to make sure we're being supportive of our small businesses. So please reach out, let us know, including me, how we can help you. We want to make sure we're supporting our businesses. And I know these two individuals do a fine job out in the community, and I just want to make sure you know we're here to support you. And I'll let Joey touch on the other stuff. And Joey, I do have the backpacks that should be coming in. So I should have those sometime this week. So we can definitely work on trying to get those out as well. And we can talk about that offline. Thank you.
Mr. Casey? Okay. City Manager.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I just want to let you know that we're going to be bringing back the CFDs. The staff did not inform the council on the ramifications of not passing that, so we're going to be bringing that back on August 11th.
Thank you very much. City Attorney.
Nothing tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Any of the department heads?
Yes, I just want to talk about working with Second Harvest. It's called Senior Harvest for the seniors 60 and older. This would be the first site here in Stanislaus County, here in Ceres. We'll have it at the community center. We'll be starting September 3rd. So they'll be giving food away on the 1st and 3rd, I want to say Wednesday of the month. And there's already a flyer out, information out. So if you know anybody that's 60 and over here in Ceres, have them reach out to us. We can get in the application. And then also we also reached out to the city of Houston since it's so close together. So that's another great program we're bringing here to the seniors.
Vice Mayor, before you say something, I just want to say thank you for you and your staff always tagging me on your post. I know you guys have thousands of followers, and I have a big following as well. That's a great way to continue to spread the word. And I just want to appreciate all the council members who do the same thing when I tag them and they tag me. Try to do our best to communicate to the public about things that are happening in Ceres. Vice Mayor.
Brandy, since you're still here, do you have an update on K&B Books or Little Papa's Sandwich Shop yet? Do you have a grand opening or anything scheduled for those coming up?
We're expecting some sandwiches too. We're here to support. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I know you're tired, but you have to come to the podium. I'm so sorry. I know this is.
I will be contacting Rhonda tomorrow to finish our final fire and building inspection for the bookstore. Hoping to be open by Friday. I do have an event, author signing scheduled. I don't want to reschedule her. So I'm really hoping we can get the bookstore open before Thursday, Friday at the latest for that. Once the bookstore is open, then we can finish finalizing the restaurant, get environmental health out there, and hopefully within 20 days that'll be open. So that's kind of where it stands now, but I need the support of the city to help me with all of this. So soon, very soon is my answer.
Thank you. Thank you. Was there anything else, Joey? I know that we kind of got sidetracked. Thank you. Anybody else? Oh, okay. Thank you very much, everyone. That concludes our meeting. Have a good day. God bless.